up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG, Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. live on Woodward Sports, a show for Detroit by Detroit with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome to Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off your day with the Woo crew. Man, it feels good. We're going to have, the entire starting five in the building. Shout out to that dude, Justin, as well. But how are you doing, Flannel Sam?
I'm all right. It's always good to be here with the fellas. Today's a bit of a accountability day. Not me taking any, because I don't think today's a day for me to take any, but to me to
You're not a taker, you're a giver.
well, sometimes I have to take some, and you know, I take my medicine when I'm wrong, but today's a day where I'm gonna dish out some accountability to somebody who I think has been skirting it a little bit too much. We'll get to that in the second hour, but it's gonna be a fun show.
Yes,
There's
sir.
no hint to that on the back wall right now.
None.
None.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. Shout out, though, to the booth for right now. We got Matthew Broder, our credentialed Tigers and Lions reporter. We got in the TD booth, Woodward Sports MVP, JBSMOOOOOV as well. Shout out to KG, wherever you are, KG.
Oh, camera work. There we go.
Hey! That's right. Hey, you know what? Show the shirt. Show the shirt. We might not want him as coach, but the Fab Five, it's still the legendary Fab Five.
And on our
Wow,
Rod's
your next
fine
Pistons
Michigan
fan.
man coming on. What was that? JB, say that louder.
He's over there
said-
chirping. What's that, Sparty?
I said, Juwan Howard, your next assistant coach of the Detroit Pistons.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to Dwayne Casey, though.
Yeah.
He's turning down everybody. He's turned down opportunities to be lead assistant, opportunities to be assistant on several teams that are going to be contending for a championship, including the Lakers, which is the latest one.
Yeah.
To stay with the Detroit Pistons, shout out to Dwayne Casey. He and his family fell in love with the city, fell in love with the area, fell in love with the community and supporting it. And good on them to say, you know what, we want to kind of be right here. They made that commitment to the organization when he was originally hired as coach. It was known that whether he had success and eventually stepped down as coach or didn't have success and stepped down as coach, that he was going to be here for the long term. So shout out to Dwayne Casey and his family.
Yep, he must have a maybe an even bigger role in mind. We shall see with the Detroit Pistons.
It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to
yeah.
be interesting. But,
Does he have a connection to Lonzo Ball? Because please, Lonzo, come on.
I don't know. I mean, hey, we know he has a connection to DeMar DeRozan. What up, though, DeMar? What up, though? I know DeMar loves Kay Cunningham's basketball game.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. And what I read, he's not willing to take the mid-level exception. Like, he actually wants to get paid. So we could have the best mid-range shooting team in all the East. He and Tobias Harris can just... We're talking about spacing and three-point shooting.
You know what? Let's go DeMar DeRozan.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? When we get into our Pistons segment, we got to talk about Lonzo Ball. This stuff is starting to sweep, and it's something we've kind of pondered a couple times on this show. We got to get into it, but let's get warmed up.
Let's do it.
We got the legend Rod Beard. He will be joining the show today. We're going to be going through the Detroit news around the city. But you know what? You'll tell the people we're going to be talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
tripping right now.
We're doing this by memory right here. Got my notes over there. We're going to just talk about the Tigers briefly at 8:15. Oh, hey, there we go. And Rod is coming on early, 8:30, to talk Pistons, to go around the city a little bit. Then Flannel has some, like he described in the opener, he is going to be holding some Tigers staff members accountable, we'll say. We're going to touch on the Pistons, we're going to touch on the Red Wings, and we're going to have fun here on a Wednesday before the 4th of July. I can't wait for the fireworks that are happening at around 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes. But
Let's go.
do you guys remember? Do you remember when I was talking about Stephen A. Smith? He came out talking about baseball players and their toughness.
Yeah.
I
You
do.
know, really questioning, Mike Trout out in the outfield, just standing around chewing, spitting pumpkin seeds. Like, no one spits pumpkin seeds. It's sunflower seeds, Stephen A. But I saw this tweet, I saw this graphic, and just to remind you what Stephen A. Smith said, JB, could you roll that real short clip of Stephen A. just to remind our audience a little bit, just to give them a taste of what Stephen had to say about baseball players?
It drives me nuts when I see baseball players getting hurt. What is it that you're doing with yourself physically that you can't stay healthy?
So there we go, just a little brief clip. Go watch it. It's about an hour and a half of just a bunch of BS that he's spewing.
You guys are going to have to hit the octagon soon, bro.
We are. I think we might, but I don't know. He must not be much of a historian because I saw this graphic of Ray Caldwell. This is way back in the day, 1919. But if you ever want to question baseball players' toughness, I want to ask you guys, how tough are you? Would you go through this? Check this out. Ray Caldwell, 1919, struck by lightning in the ninth inning of the Indians debut. Finished game after being revived on the field. Pitched a no-hitter at New York 17 days later. I know there's not much really to talk about there, but I wanted to share, with you guys, with Stephen A., with the world, just baseball players' toughness. Like, bro.
I love this.
Load management, Mr. NBA.
Hey, this is back when men were men, right?
Yeah.
Man, getting struck
by lightning, bro.
Just like, I don't need to leave the game. Just revive me, and I'm ready to do a finish the game. I just died on the field, and then I'm like, oh yeah, resuscitated.
And I'm telling you, find somebody to cape for you, the way that Broder capes for baseball.
Well,
I love it too.
The reality is what Stephen A. Smith was saying was a bunch of nonsense.
It was. And it looks bad on us NBA people.
It does. The reality is that baseball players, I don't think people understand. Broder, you understand better than all of us, play every single day. Every single day. You have a day off every once in a while, maybe like 1 out of every 10 days on average or something like that. But you get up, you play day games after night games. Stuff happens, and especially as you get up there a little bit in age, which Mike Trout has entered his early 30s, things are just going to happen. Baseball players are not machines. That's for sure.
Factual. What we got next on that warm-up lines?
Hey,
layup lines.
You have Indians pitcher, Ray Caldwell. Oh, no, we went there.
Yeah.
Bigger fall from grace. Tim Anderson Jr.?
Oh, yeah.
Or Javi Baez.
Yeah, play this graphic. Yesterday, Tim Anderson Jr., I think he won the batting title a couple of years ago for the White Sox, multi-year MVP. He just got DFA'd from the Marlins. There's two shortstops who had a couple good years in their career. They both have just completely fallen off. Which one is worse? I'm going to let KG have this booth back.
Man, which one is worse? I don't really know if I can make a distinction because people, and it's easy to forget now, Tim Anderson just a couple years ago was considered one of the bright kind of up-and-coming, maybe not even up-and-coming. He was one of the bright young stars in the game. His career highlight, of course, was hitting a walk-off in that Field of Dreams game, that unbelievable game between the Yankees and the White Sox. It was just an amazing moment, but he had 4 consecutive years where he hit over 300. He had a batting title. And even Javi Baez, people forget, won a World Series with the Cubs in 2016, was second in MVP voting in 2018 to Christian Yelich. And right now, Javi Baez and Tim Anderson are the worst players in MLB baseball. You would rather have Ryan Kreidler than both of them. Seriously, that is how bad both of them are. Which is worse? I don't really know if I can make a distinction between that. Maybe Tim Anderson's fall off was a little bit more drastic because starting in, I think it was even 2023 is really when he just completely fell off a cliff and has been awful since. Javi Baez's has been a little bit more steady, but at the same time, we're talking about MVP candidate batting title players to the worst players in baseball. Players that single A players could replace and be better. Not kidding. That's not an exaggeration.
It's a good time to remind people, Javi Baez was never good. He was all right, and he was a spark. He's a good sixth best player on a team where his energy and his swag can make a difference, like it did on that Cubs team with Chris Bryant and Rizzo. That team was so much Arrieta, fun to watch. But he always struck out. He never hit for average. He had a couple homers here and there, and he's a good tagger. So yeah, I don't know, it might be Tim Anderson. To be determined.
That's a little aggressive. Javi was second in MVP in 2018, but I understand what you're saying. He was somebody who was always overvalued.
That's a better way. That's a more professional way to say it.
He's a guy who I would say he always had a high strikeout rate, and he never walked, no matter what. Like, that man, like, if you threw him, he would strike out on an intentional walk. Remember the old intentional walks where you actually had to throw like the four balls outside? That's Javi Baez. So yeah, no, he was never as good as people think. I mean, certainly not as good as Al Avila and Chris Ilitch thought, certainly, but no, the point is that those two are the worst everyday players in baseball. And they're not even everyday players anymore.
Reminder, DFA'd from the Marlins.
Yep.
Like,
terrible
from the
team.
Marlins.
Yep.
Come on.
Yep.
Maybe that means Jazz Chisholm goes back to shortstop.
I don't know.
We'll see. But now that KG's here, I figured it's time. We got to, when it's earned, which this has been earned, we got to show some love to Angel Reese. I put this late on the show sheet. It's not on your guys' stuff. Angel Reese had 12 points, 19 rebounds last night for the Chicago Sky. They beat who'd they beat? They beat the Atlanta Dream, and she was named to the All-Star team. So KG, there's your girl. I'm excited to share with you the stats because you didn't watch the game or know that she did this last night.
Absolutely not. But I like that she's been dubbed my girl now. I mean, it is what it is, but it is what it is. But I mean, I was just told yesterday that she only made it because of Caitlin Clark's coattails. So, you know, it is what it is, man. But shout out to her.
She was named to the All-Star team, as was Caitlin Clark, but separate. She did earn it. Angel Reese has been pretty phenomenal in the WNBA, and you can see a good clip from her after the game. You know, in tears, excited about her individual accomplishments on a 7-11 team.
Voters forever gonna take shots, man.
I mean, she's obviously kind of one of those walk into the WNBA and be one of the best rebounders in the game. You can't discount that. I'd like for her to get that field goal percentage up. I would say that. But just given the fact that, as I said, already one of the best rebounders in the game, puts up consistent double-doubles, I would say she maybe deserves an all-star nod, but there's a snowball's chance in hell she's taken the Rookie of the Year from Caitlin Clark. Because Caitlin Clark, she also has her efficiency issues, that's for damn sure, but she's better.
Man, what is the Indiana Fever record?
About
bad.
About this.
Right.
They're both.
That
Yeah,
didn't get brought up for some
they're
reason.
both
Yeah,
like
of
4 or
course.
5 games under 500.
Well, that's because
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark isn't praising her own accomplishments.
Yep, keep making excuses for
Because
her.
she
It's
doesn't have
fine.
to. She got everything
Y'all
already.
just let her be
Some
great.
people
Keep
got to
making
make sure they
excuses.
put themselves out there. Because if they don't, nobody else is going to shine the spotlight. Angel Reese, she talked it. She backed it up. She made it to the pros. Now she's an all-star.
Yep.
She's breaking records. There's a lot of people who didn't think that she would get this far. She's gotten there. And nobody is going to be out there with the megaphone saying, hey, we want to give you the big shoe deal. Hey, we want to make you the face of this, and this, because that just doesn't happen here in this country.
Yeah.
Just if we're going to read between the lines. It don't. So if she's not speaking up for herself, who's going to do it?
I mean, nobody thought she was going to get here. She was like a top 5 pick in the draft.
She called it. People said she was being cocky. She called it a shot, just like LeBron did. I mean,
Oh,
just
so
being
Angel
real.
Reese is LeBron
She's
now.
not
Nobody
LeBron.
said that.
Nobody said that.
Nobody said
Nobody
that.
said that. I'm just saying.
Here's the thing. My
we
problem with her has
moved the
been all
goalposts.
about the talking.
Move the goalpost.
My issue with her is the talking. It's not the on-court play.
Players talk.
They do.
You-
We take that in the NBA, but for some reason in the WNBA,
It's
depending
a
on who
problem.
the player is, it's a problem because you can see a whole list, a whole line of like Caitlin Clark and who she is on the actual court with her teammates, with her coaches, with other players. We see the bad, we see the good.
Yeah.
That just doesn't get the megaphone or the spotlight shined on it as much as what Angel Reese does. And I get it because she puts herself in some of that limelight as well.
No, that's
She
the
does.
thing.
We
Yeah.
can admit
But if
that.
she doesn't, listen, I think for her and her brand and for where she's at, I believe that is honestly good. That is good.
Oh, for sure, for her, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like that. Yes.
I think we could both agree, and we can all agree if we're being objective, that given the fact that they're rookies, that both of them have had successful rookie years.
Hell yeah.
I'm not an Angel Reese fan. I've made it known, but the double-double streak, I'm not going to disrespect that. I'll disrespect the field goal percentage, but Caitlin Clark's isn't good either.
Yeah.
She shoots
That's what
tougher
I'm saying,
shots, but
fine.
it's not good either. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
She made it on her own
That's
merit.
a debate for the ages. And I do believe that does keep WNBA.
If she keeps playing like this, 100%, then we really can start having the Bird and Magic. Like that was the one thing. It wasn't the talent level wasn't even close in college. But Angel Reese she's showing out in the WNBA and making a name for herself by her play on the court. Like, to me, she just doesn't need to talk because she's actually good. Yeah. She's good.
Yeah,
she's good. You know,
Angel Reese up in the head-to-heads too.
Pardon?
You know, I say Angel Reese is up in the head-to-heads too, but we ain't got to talk about that.
Is she?
You sure about that?
It's close.
Yeah.
It's close.
Are we sure about that?
I think so.
All right. Well, you know who else is good at basketball that I didn't realize?
Oh.
Terrion Arnold.
Oh.
Hey.
Terrion Arnold. Here's a video. He's posted to his personal Twitter. Just to him, he was alone. He wasn't playing in a game. He wasn't running full court with the fellas, but he showed off his athleticism in an empty gym. JB, could you roll that little video?
Yep.
Hey!
What do you guys think of this athleticism from your first round pick?
I like that. I don't think people understand how difficult it is to dunk, let alone to start adding motions and windmills and things like that. I like it, man.
Yeah.
I like it. It's cool to see these athletes, just how versatile they are. So, hey, Terrion Arnold, get out the way if he's coming down the lane.
Yeah, no. The funny thing is, Terrion Arnold is probably the same height as me, and I've never dunked in my life. I can't even touch the rim.
Yeah,
I've never even dunked a sock.
How tall is he?
I think he's like 6'2", right? He's something like that.
6'2",
I may be a little
6 foot, 6'1", maybe.
Yeah. Like I might even be. I might even
so
have like
shorter
a little bit of a leg up on Terrion Arnold in terms of height. But that, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
never.
tough.
I don't see this as much of a big deal, but at the same time, it's like the fact that he can windmill dunk.
Right.
I mean, athleticism is one of his calling cards coming into the NFL, to the Detroit Lions. So it's kind of nice to see in another setting as well. Just don't hurt yourself, Terrion, please.
That was the key. I saw it. I thought it was impressive, he wasn't in a game playing, risking injury. So there it is. We went a little over in the first segment, but we're gonna have a condensed Tigers. We're gonna talk 7-8 minutes on them when we come back. The game last night, some news around the organization, some exciting news, and some bad news. But let's go to break. We'll come back. Quick Tiger segment before Rod comes on.
Hey, let's rock. And let me tell the people about Premier Pet Supply. It's hands down Michigan's best pet store. They offer you the same prices and all the conveniences of online and big box retailers with one major difference. They've been family and locally owned for over 30 plus years. They carry over 60 brands of food and they have nutrition experts to help you same day, local curbside and home delivery. Premier Pet Supply, get your pet the best. Visit them online as well, www.premierpetsupply.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
What up, dog people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate y'all for choosing to kick off today with the Woo Crew. We got the entire starting five in the building, and I saw our sixth man. Shout out to Justin, man. Just He's the perfect sixth man. He could be starting, but he's accepted his role as well. And he's doing a great job at it. He said,
Mark Crawford.
He said that the Woo-Koo starting five is the dream team.
Yeah, undefeated in the Olympics for sure.
Oh, yeah.
He's on vacation. He's still holding down a lot of his Woo-Koo duties too behind the scenes. So
he is.
Shout out to him, man. We appreciate you, brother. And you know what? Now we got everybody in the building. Let's make sure their faces are up there. Shout out to KG, Detroit's #1 draft pick in the sound booth.
What up, man?
Right, Hollywood.
Yes, sir. What's good with y'all, man?
Hey, you just getting video bombed by brother.
Yeah, it's all good.
Shout out to Woodward Sports' MVP. That is JBSMOOOOOV in the TD booth.
Hello.
I love the Warriors hat, man.
Oh, appreciate that. You know, shout out Stackhouse.
You got Saw Broder, Kool-Aid, Flannel. Let's jump into these Tigers, man.
Let's do it. 3-4 minutes on last night. Tigers blew it. They blew it.
Yep.
They lost 5-3 to the Twins. Tarek Skubal pitched well. Had 2 bad pitches. Came back to bite him. A double that scored 2 runs. Gave up a solo home run. But it's still 150% a game they should have won.
Yeah.
Skubal was dominant. Will Vest came in a high leverage situation in the 7th. Blew it. I think the next pitcher who came in, who was it? Bo Brisky gave up a solo home run to Carlos Correa. It was ugly. I don't even know what to say. They scored 3 runs in 1 inning.
Yeah. No, it's funny because for the most part, Tarek Skubal did look dominant. But when you look at the stat line, which is important given that, they lost, it's going to look like one of his more subpar starts of the season. But it's still a quality start. I mean, if there's one positive that I have, it would be Justin Henry Malloy. He's kind of looking like he might become something. He started off pretty hot, went on a really bad stretch, and lately has been hitting the ball very well. Played a great game on Sunday against the Angels, and then played a really good game. He played a great game last night as well. So hopefully he becomes something. But it's a horrific season for somebody who had expectations for them maybe making the playoffs, even with the roster that they had at the beginning of the year. It's been a horrific year, and injuries have happened. More injuries are happening, and it's just hopefully. I'm just hoping that some of these guys can make it to the trade deadline so we can flip them.
Yeah,
man. I was just gonna say really quick, man.
Well, nobody did, and I don't think you were taking a shot, but I'm always gonna defend Riley Green. I always say check the OPS, check the on base percentage. The OPS is 827.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, and I'm not trying to disrespect those guys. I'm glad that they're at least at the 250s. I feel like 250s with the other stats that you said, it's very respectable. But it's just the fact that that's all we have to celebrate.
I mean,
like when you look at the other batting averages, I'm just like, what in the world did we wake up in? Like, it can't be. I just didn't expect that bad.
I will say this: if you want a little bit of foreshadowing for what I'm going to get into later on, and a lot of people are going to disagree with this on surface level, but I'll explain a little bit more later. The Detroit Tigers, despite all of the horrific seasons you've seen. I mean, Torque is kind of the poster child for it, as he should be. Javi, of course, Parker Meadows going to the minors. Yeah. The Tigers, even with everything that they've been through, even with the injury to Kerry Carpenter, they have more good players than you think. Well, they have more good players than you think. The question is, are they utilized correctly?
Ooh.
A little bit of foreshadowing there. I'll just say that.
You were foreshadowing, too, when you were talking about Justin Henry Malloy. That is a good transition to the next point. Yes. Unless you guys want to say anything else about last night's game. Kool-Aid, KG, JB. No, otherwise, we're moving on.
This is so bad.
No, we can move on.
We can move on. So let's talk about the future. Prospects. Justin Henry Malloy was a player that Scott Harris targeted and found via trade. So was Max Clark, was drafted by Scott Harris.
Yep.
And Hao Yu Lee was found in a trade by Scott Harris also. I think that was the Michael Lorenzen trade to the Phillies. Max Clark and Hao Yu Lee were both named. They were selected to the Futures game. So this is some of the top prospects around Major League Baseball. They play in what's called the Futures game, which I think is the night before the All-Star game. So they're part of the All-Star game festivities. So wanted to give those two a shout out, and also. And we'll talk more about it probably next week when we get into the draft and trade deadline and whatnot. But these are two guys. This gives you a little hint at the timeline that Scott Harris is working with. Like, this organization is going to kick it into the next gear when his first draft class, his first transaction class, comes to fruition. We see Max Clark, Hao-Yu Lee in the futures game, Justin Henry Malloy. Colt Keith was someone who Scott Harris didn't draft, didn't select, but noticed enough where we're going to commit to him long term. These are the guys that we're watching. They're ready to play. When they're ready to play in the bigs, that's when the Tigers start competing. So I'm sure we'll talk about it more. Sounds like we might have Rod on the line right now. So
not Rod, just a little NBA breaking news.
Oh,
yeah, I was trying to wait because you were spitting.
No. I just point out this is his draft class. Scott Harris is excited about them. That's when they really start. This Tigers team is really going to start to compete. So real quick, Tigers have a couple injuries. Casey Mize went to the IL with a hamstring injury. Yeah. That's not good.
Not at all.
That's not good. Fortunately it's not an arm injury. But whenever you have an injury anywhere, pitcher's got to worry about that. So he's going to be on the DL till he's 100% healthy. Flaherty got an injection in his back. That's something to keep an eye on. I think he's going to miss a start, but he's a huge trade piece. And then Kerry Carpenter had a setback with his rehab. He's got a lumbar spine stress fracture. That's not good. So we'll, as we learn more over the next week, we'll cover them. But quick shift, NBA breaking news.
Yeah, free agent LeBron James. This is via Adrian Wojnarowski. He has agreed to a 2-year, $104 million max deal to return to the LA Lakers. And he gets the player option, and he has a no trade clause. So I believe his son also has a 2-year fully guaranteed contract as well. So
Flannel, you didn't want to announce that?
I mean, I didn't know. I probably should have.
Shout out to the James family.
Hey, you know what? Tee it up. Let's go.
No, I mean, everybody knows that the Detroit Pistons aren't going to win the title this year. So, yes, I'm rooting for the Lakers. Do I think that they've done enough to give them a championship roster? I don't know about that. They're certainly not.
They gave him Bronny James.
Hey, they got Dalton Connect though. That's a good pick. That is a good pick. Objectively a good pick.
Hate on that one.
But yeah, when you see the upgrades that the Oklahoma City Thunder have made, and even the Dallas Mavericks getting Klay Thompson, it's certainly going to be tough out there. But I think Darvin Ham's absence is going to make the team a little bit better. Dalton Connect. Hopefully, LeBron and AD can stay healthy. Got other guys like Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura. I think this is going to be a good team, but Rui. I'm not so sure if they're championship level. I'd like to see them make another move, but at this point, what moves are there to make?
Yeah. I mean, look, they've been rumored to be definitely kicking the tires on a lot of different moves, from kind of good role players to players that we're hoping the Pistons go after. So it'd be interesting to see. I know DeMar DeRozan was one of those names that popped up, but the Lakers just don't have what it takes to get it done, which then opens up the possibility, because we've been talking about several different names that are now all available, from DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, all ironically from the Chicago Bulls. And if one or two of those guys are gone, Nikola Vucevic is going to be available then.
Man,
I'm like, can we just have all those guys?
Let's just
come across Lake Michigan. We got you here in Detroit.
Let's just fleece the Bulls and get draft picks. Hey,
fleece them.
I mean, what are they going to do with this? They've tried it. And I get it that Lonzo Ball, I see him working out. I see him in the lab. I hope to God that he can get back on the court, because he really had found his basketball nirvana until he had that.
The way he plays ball.
I do too. I love him on the Pistons, but first and foremost, I just want to see him playing NBA basketball again. He had figured it out. He was going to turn into one of those guys that maybe never makes an all-star. But as I said, in his last season in Chicago with the Bulls, was that you might as well call him Lonzo Thompson or Clay Ball. That's how he was shooting. 42% from three on 7 attempts per game, while also playing defense, while also being a distributor, getting them in transition. He's one of the best, and I know this is kind of geeky, nobody can throw an outlet pass quite like Lonzo Ball in terms of modern NBA players.
Bro, he has whole highlight packages, highlight reels like that, man. Like, straight up. It's what honestly excites me. When you talk about the type of guard that you might want to see next to a Cade Cunningham, it's that cerebral guard that can really command things. It's never really sped up. The game always seems in control. That's where Lonzo Ball had kind of gotten. And then to see the improvement from his shot opened up even more for him in the half-court offense. That's the type of guard. You're talking about a taller guard as well who can play some defense. If you're going to put a point guard next to Cade Cunningham, man, if Lonzo Ball could get right, and that's the whole risk in this thing. He would be a good pairing next to Cade, especially if you could bring in some draft capital.
Bring him home.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said bring him home.
Bring him home. I would never root for the Chicago Bulls because they're the Chicago Bulls, but I was I am really bummed that team never came to fruition with Lonzo and
Vucevic,
Alex Caruso.
yeah.
Then you had Levine and DeMar DeRozan and Kobe White and who'd you just say?
Vucevic. Nikolai.
Like that was they had a couple games where
he could actually play.
Yeah, like that was an exciting team that I thought was built pretty well, and it's just a bummer it never worked out. Now's the time. We just got to take advantage of their irrelevancy.
If they were fully healthy, the Bulls, they might have made the finals in 2022.
Yeah.
And the question is, the Celtics actually made it. Obviously, in hindsight, but at the time, they didn't have Porzingis. They didn't have Drew Holiday. So maybe the Bulls do. But then again, it's a big if. And Lonzo Ball, he was kind of the engine that made it all go. And once he went down, they kind of went into the toilet. But yeah, bring Lonzo Ball home, get some draft capital. And oh, by the way, who fixed his shot? Fred Vincent. Fred Vincent. Hey, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, Fred Vincent, maybe a little Jaden Ivey. Even Cade could get his 3-point percentage up a little bit, even though it's better. But we'll see.
Yep. Yeah, Cade Cunningham's 3-point numbers, man. Those were something to dive into yesterday because he made some good steps in the right direction.
Yes.
But there's definitely room to grow, and I think he will make that leap. But I want to talk a little bit more in the next segments, man. What up, though, brother?
No, I just said Art. He needs to shoot with more arc.
Yeah. More arc?
Yeah.
But that's something, I mean, no, you're right. It's something that he talked about in exit interviews that when he got to the NBA, something happened with his shot as it relates to flattening it out a little bit. And so I'm hoping that as he kind of trains this offseason for the first time, being able to work to just get better and improve and not work to rehab, not work to get back from an injury. This is his first offseason where it's just work to improve your actual deficiencies in your game. I'm hoping that 3-point shot is something that we can look at and say, yo, he's up to now 38%. Catch and shoot now is up to 42, 43%. I mean, right now he's at 35.5, so he's already at about 36% from 3, and his catch and shoot is around 40% as well. So marginal jumps make him even more deadly of an NBA player.
Hey, it shows that he can do it. It shows that what you saw in college wasn't a fluke, that he's going to project to be a good 3-point shooter in the NBA because you saw it last year. I mean, is it perfect? Would you like a little bit better than 35.5%, which I always round up to 36 because, hey, you round up 5 to you round up if it's 0.5 up.
That's our teacher.
It's a little bit of narrative pushing, but at the same time, not so much. But yeah, if he can somehow, if he gets it up to like between 38 and 40% some year, like Fred Vincent. Fred Vincent.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be nice. But you know what? I believe we have the legend Rod Beard ready to go. Let's pay some bills. And we got the legend on the way, guys. Stay tapped in. Smash that like button to satisfy you.
Absolutely. Well, if you're trying to improve your 3-point shot, you probably don't want to do this that often. But if you're doing anything else, go to Dispo, of course. This summer, Dispo Dispensary is turning up the heat with amazing giveaways and exclusive offers. Enter for a chance to win a signed football jersey and helmet from your favorite sports team. Screenshot this image with the QR code. Bring it into one of their locations to get scanned, and you'll get a free $10 to spend in store. This will automatically qualify you for the giveaway. Dispo Dispensary, visit today. DispoShops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Braylon with your Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at RandyWiseBuickGMC.com.
No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the Planet Fitness Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or visit their website, planetfitness.com.
Hey, what up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Welcome back, people, to Wake Up Woodward. Hey, KG, you want to wake him up real quick, brother?
Wake up out of your sleep.
Let's go. Chat family, as always, you guys are the most important part of this entire Woo Crew production. Going ahead and smash that like button. Just satisfy that like button and treat it well, man. What does KG always say? Treat her nice. You gotta
be good
treat her
to
well.
her.
Be good to her.
Be gentle.
Be gentle to her. Come on, man. Satisfy that like button. But we got the legend on for a couple segments, Woodward Pistons, as well as around the city with the Detroit news. So let's get this drum roll going before we get the legend in. You guys already know we got to treat the legend with respect. Let's rock, man. Hey, yo! Shout out and welcome to the legend, Detroit News, Rod Beard. What up, though, brother? Welcome to the show. I appreciate you for giving us your time, man. I know it's going to be a busy morning for you, but you still chose to come and hang out with the fellas for a few, man. What up, though, brother?
Oh, come on.
No! Oh, man, because I really want his takes on, especially the Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr. I know we're going to get the sound right. I know we're going to. So we could definitely start to tee up some stuff. We're going to get Rod's thoughts as well.
I'm excited to ask him about coaching, like JB Bickerstaff, and just coaching around the NBA. Like, I want to get his thoughts. Like, is coaching, is it in a good place? Is it transitioning to a new style? I'm excited to hear what his opinion is on the matter.
All right, let's try it again. We'll see if we got a legend. Hey, brother, can you hear us? Let's see if we can hear him. He said, hold on 1 second. I feel like I hear something.
Well, you heard the drum roll, but
baby, lock them doors and turn the lights down low.
Rod, can you hear us?
Music.
No,
I heard static for a second.
Wait. Yeah, I heard something.
I think I hear static, but we can't hear you yet.
What?
JB Bigger Smooth.
Yeah, we can start the coach conversation because I do find it very interesting that Dwayne Casey is very, very high and in demand. I like JB.
As a coach?
Yeah, as a coach. People are calling to have him be able to come contenders. The Lakers are the latest to join their staff as a lead assistant coach.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool that he's still getting that recognition as one of our better basketball minds in the NBA, which is something I will continue to champion. I will continue. This guy has won on multiple levels from college to pro as well as a coach. And to kind of have that type of basketball mind within your organization, along with a guy like a JB, I'm about to call him Bigger Smooth, Bigger Staff. You know, I think that's a cool pairing because these young guys, they really, really meshed with Dwayne Casey. You remember when Dwayne Casey, when they had kind of the press conference and they said, hey, he's going to be moving on to the front office, the things that they were saying about who Dwayne Casey was to them, it was like, you know what? There was a connection there. The results might not have been on the floor. So to be able to have that type of connection in the organization for a Bickerstaff who is known for really being foundational and with kind of propelling young players' careers, I'm looking forward to it, man. But you said we have Rod back on? We'll try to sing one more time.
Let's see if this is gonna work. Come on. Rod, can you hear us?
No. Can't hear,
We
brother.
still can't.
Yeah, maybe just get him
Oh, yeah, let's call.
Yeah, let's
get the
let's
call.
give him a call.
Okay.
We'll do that. So while he's dialing in, like, and I think Flannel, you're a good person to have a part of this conversation too. But I'm gonna throw it at you guys. Like,
Yeah.
JJ Redick's a head coach now. Joe Mazzulla was the head coach, now a championship-winning head coach without a lot of experience. Is the NBA coaching philosophy or like, are we transitioning to this new phase where you need a younger coach to connect with the players, but then maybe need a Dwayne Casey on the bench to have that, you know, to have the old school mindset or whatever? I know I'm not formulating the best question in here, but I guess what are your thoughts on this new wave of coaching?
It's a strange thing because in like with JJ Redick, for example, with what he's done on ESPN and then what he's done in the podcast world and in the podcast with LeBron, he has shown me at least, and I think a lot of people, that he's a hell of a basketball mind. I'm not saying that's going to translate to him being a head coach, but that's the type of thing in the modern, maybe social media era that gets you a job. And you also see across all of the NBA, proven head coaches that have helped bring teams championships are just gone. Frank Vogel, like not that long after the Lakers win a championship, gone. Mike Budenholzer with the Bucks, gone. Nick Nurse with the Toronto Raptors, gone. And then you even saw last year with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Griffin.
They had more success when Adrian Griffin was their head coach, but Giannis didn't like him. Allegedly, Donovan Mitchell didn't like JB Bickerstaff. And even though the Cavs experienced, you know, a great deal of regular season success, they also had a talented roster. But, you know, JB Bickerstaff did have his fingerprints on the team, I think, via how good of defensively they were. It's just, it's a weird time where, like, you can win a championship and go. I think it's just, moving forward, you're going to see a lot of turnover, even with good organizations. You're seeing it right now.
Yeah, and it's crazy how much turnover we are seeing. It's like, you know, Dwayne Casey literally won Coach of the Year, had one of the best kind of, you know, regular seasons for the Raptors. And they were instantly like, hey, you know what? A couple days later, see ya. Nick Nurse literally won them a championship. And they were like, hey, peace. Thank you.
Yeah, and Nick Nurse did have the benefit of you know, Kawhi over DeMar DeRozan. But at the same time, a lot of people disagree. I didn't disagree with Dwayne Casey getting fired from Toronto because the best Raptors team that had home court advantage got LeBronto swept in the worst way that they ever had. At some point, you got to win in the playoffs. But they also didn't have the roster. They didn't have the superstar. When they got him, with a lot of injury luck, by the way, I'm not going to discount that. They got a championship.
And the bounce heard around the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, all right, so we got the legend on the phone line. All right, let's rock. Let's rock.
Hey, Rod, you on Wake Up Woodward?
What up, though, brother? Welcome to the show. Hopefully we got this thing figured out now.
Third time's the charm. We got it this time.
Rock. Let's rock.
There we go.
Let's rock. Hey, man, look, in the crew, we're all ecstatic, man. Every time you drop knowledge. And so let's jump right into it, man. We were talking about the Detroit Pistons. So let's kick things off with Rod's thoughts.
Free agency is just something. I mean, the NFL can say that they have the best free agency. The NBA, absolute. Even in a year where it's not a great storyline for everything, but the NBA free agency is absolutely the best. You are sitting here wondering where PG is going. You want your team to go and make moves, and you feel like you have a chance to make a splash in free agency and during this high time of high media for the NBA. And the Pistons even did that, too, getting their coach, getting Dennis Lindsey, making a couple of little smaller moves, but they got their time in the sun during the NBA's high season.
Yep. This NBA free agency is crazy. It's amazing to see approaching billions of dollars worth of money spent by some teams.
Celtics.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane to see. I'm just like, wait, I thought the CBA was supposed to be putting a cap on some of this stuff, but it seems like it's helped some of these top teams stay at the top. Be able to give them the longevity. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the NBA. I think if the Pistons, with Trajan Langdon at the head of this basketball operations for the Pistons now, I'm hoping that he better positions the Pistons to be able to get some draft capital. This has been a recurring theme, not just here on our show, but I'm sure across Pistons Nation. If Trajan Langdon said he's out there to, take on bad contracts to be able to take on future draft capital, I'm hoping he's one of those guys that's adept at being able to do that. We saw a little bit of that with the Tim Hardaway Jr. trade, 3 second-round picks coming to the Pistons. But what do you think so far? What's your assessment of Trajan Langdon and the moves that the Detroit Pistons have made to this point?
Well, starting with Langdon, I think he is just honest and maybe a little bit too honest and straightforward with the way that he presents himself and what his plans are. And it's refreshing to see that a front office guy is going to tell you, hey, this is going to take time. This isn't going to be a throw it in the microwave or throw it in the air fryer and this thing is done in a couple of years. It's going to take time. We got to get some talent on this roster, and we've got to all be aligned in the organization to be able to do that. And to go get Dennis Lindsey says they're serious about this. This isn't we're just going to figure it out as we go. No, they have a plan of what they want to do. And then just on the path forward, I think it's going to be some roster turnover, and it may be some of the young guys that we thought were untouchables before. And I think we've said Cade is the only real untouchable, but Asar, people didn't think that he might be a piece to move, or Jaden Ivey, or maybe even Jalen Duren. All of those guys might be people that you say, in order to move forward, you might have to change and get rid of a piece that you thought you were going to keep. And I think that's all on the table for him because he understands the situation that this team is in.
Yes, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I was just about to ask you if this organization seems to have more of a direction than they did in those years with a Troy Weaver. And you kind of said as much that you do see a direction. And kind of to piggyback off of that point with some of the players that they've acquired, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Tobias Harris. How much do you think those players will help a Cade Cunningham next year, if at all?
I think they can, and I think the commitment to Tobias Harris says how valuable that is to them. That $26 million is no just drop in the bucket. And Tobias Harris is not an all-star type that we were talking about they need to go out and get, but they think that experience is that critical. And to go and get Tim Hardaway, who is just a professional scorer, and not a top-tier professional scorer, but he can go get you 15 if you need it per night. And to bring on that contract, that's a $16 million contract that's expiring next year. That's a strategic move. So I think they saw the value in the vets and bringing those in, and the price tag is a little bit higher than you might have wanted, and they didn't go get the elite level guy, but they see this is going to be incremental. And again, this is not a 1 or 2 year turnaround, and you saw that in both of those deals too. Tobias only 2 years, Tim Hardaway only for next year guaranteed. So you're saying these are bridge guys. These are going to start us on the path that we need to get. And both of those are good locker room guys. Tobias is one of the most professional guys that I've dealt with in a Pistons locker room in terms of just kind of settling. You see the type of person and player that they want in that locker room too, and on the court, just kind of a go after it guy. I think both of those fit the mold and show you the direction that they want to go.
So Rod, is it kind of fair to say Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., they're like the Mark Canna, the Gio Urshela acquisitions for the Tigers? Like the Pistons
hope they better
really starting to contend is going to be 2 years, maybe 3 down the line. So these are the type of pros that you want to come in to help teach them how to win, to help teach them how to become professionals. They're such a young team. What you're saying is getting me more excited about, regardless of the fit, those types of veterans, why they were brought into this Pistons team.
Right. I think it's exactly that. And it's not a 5-year deal where you say this is going to be a centerpiece. This is a Pudge Rodriguez when we just didn't have anybody else. This is more, these are stabilizing pieces. These are teaching Cade how to be a professional. And not that he needs to learn how to be, but this is helping some of those younger guys and taking some of that pressure off Cade to be the one who stands up in the locker room and says something. These are vets who can come in and say, hey, I've been in the league 10 years. This is what I've seen in the times that I've been around. Tim Hardaway Jr. went to the NBA Finals this year. You can't take that away from him. That experience is going to be so valuable in being around other guys. He's been a starting level guy on the Knicks. He's been on Atlanta. He's been on really good teams. So I think that's going to help. Even having that experience and having that on the court in small little spurts is going to help them.
Hey, Rod, and one thing that we know Trajan wants to do, he said he wants to take on bad contracts maybe through the trade market. And when you look around, there's not many of those type of players left. Of course, the big one, Zach LaVine, still out there, still available. Do you think the Pistons are in play for Zach LaVine or maybe even Lonzo Ball or somebody of that caliber to maybe they can trade and get draft capital back?
Please.
I wouldn't say Zach LaVine where they're bringing in Zach LaVine. Maybe they absorb some of that money, but they used the big piece of that on Tobias Harris. If they were in the $40 million range, I could say, yeah, maybe they could pull some strings and make that happen. I think they're just going to nip and tuck a little bit at the roster with the remaining space that they have. But a Zach LaVine, at first, I thought might have been an option. But the indications that I'm getting and the things that I'm hearing are just saying that's just the value isn't there for them, and the risk in terms of his injury history and everything else for that price tag. You're talking $40+ million, and you got a couple years left on that deal. They're just not going to be that aggressive and that reckless in trying to go after something. And again, I think that says something about this, the way that they're approaching this is not a quick fix deal. This is going to be something that they'll be patient with.
Yeah, it's what Trajan Langdon spoke to. Whether we agree with it or not, being able to report on what the organization is saying, especially now from the mouth of the president of basketball operations, which will be the CEO of the singular kind of voice of everything this team is going to do. They are, like you stated in your thoughts, these guys are being true and honest and open and transparent, and they're doing exactly what they stated. And that's one of the things that we pondered at the start of this thing. Was this going to be something where we see kind of quick change and they're worried more about kind of where the fans and the supporters are? Or is this Trajan Langdon and his front office coming into this situation, not skipping any steps and saying we'd rather do this thing the right way for the health of the organization, for the long-term success of this team, and honestly to put these young players in their best possible position to succeed? And I think that's what we're seeing. So whether we like it or not, it's something we have to talk about because it's what they're doing. And I'm whether I think they should go out there and take a swing on one of these kind of, high risk, high reward type players like a Zach LaVine or even a DeMar DeRozan, it's nice to know that this organization, is able to kind of make those assessments. Some of the things that you spoke to as it related to why they're probably out on Zach LaVine, but they do have $24 million in cap space left over. They do have a couple of their exceptions as well. What do you think this team has left to them? I was hoping they would go and kind of attack that backup center position with someone who could rim protect a little bit, but I just don't know what's out there. We discussed a little bit of JaVale McGee, but is there anything on your radar as it relates to the $24 million plus exceptions that the Pistons have? I know Gary Trent Jr. was another popular name that they stated could be had for one of the exceptions that the Pistons currently hold.
Yeah, I think you can look at the exception and say maybe there's something there with 8. You're going to do Fontecchio's deal when you're done with everything else. I think you can look at backup point guard as another one of those areas that they would address. Backup point guard, backup center, and see what's left after that. I know there's some people out there who would say Luke Kennard, bring a good shooter back, or Sadiq Bey. It's just a Pistons reunion, and a Pistons reunion of what people want to see. But I think those are the right. I wouldn't hate, and this isn't possible, but Reggie Jackson, if he just got traded to, if they went back after Reggie Jackson, because I think he's at a place in his career where he could help them. That's the type, and not specifically Reggie, but that's the type of player that they would need.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't hate it. But
yeah, I'm good on that.
The all retread.
Yeah, this retread thing is getting a little out of hand, man. No,
Talk to me, KG.
But Ryan, I wanted to ask you about new head coach JB Bickerstaff. So, just like the free agent market, the coaching candidates were kind of drying up as well. But they land on JB Bickerstaff, who is accustomed to coming in bad situations. He came in behind the Kevin McHale firing, the David Fizdale firing, and then he had 3 years in Cleveland where he proved that he can develop young talent and, achieve a level of success with young players. Now, he hasn't got to the greater heights, but do you look at JB Bickerstaff as maybe just like a short-term solution to get the Pistons to where they need to be? Or can he be a coach that's here for the long term and, that can take over the job going forward?
I think it aligns with everything else that we said, is that if you've got players for the next couple of years, JB at worst can get you through the next couple of years. He may turn into the guy who becomes that transitional guy and gets you to the playoffs and you see where you go after that. But with the roster that he had in Cleveland, with the injuries that they had in the playoffs, I don't know why expectations were so high for them this year, and getting to the second round was such a bad thing. Maybe Cleveland thinks they're a little bit better than they are, and that could be to the Pistons' benefit, that they missed out on a guy that could have done them a little bit more good.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback off of the JB Bickerstaff conversation. So based off of what we know about him, and I'm going to exclude Cade Cunningham from this discussion because he's our guy. He's the known. Which other core drafted member of the Detroit Pistons do you think will benefit the most from having JB Bickerstaff as their head coach?
I think all of them. I think every single one of them. I think you'll see Asar, you'll see Ron Holland, you'll see Jaden Ivey kind of benefit from a guy, and he's had the same sort of resume in terms of player development and instilling confidence in young guys. The issue I thought with this roster, and you talked about it earlier when you were saying Casey came in and Monty came in, is these are guys who are sort of ready to go and might be that third step guy instead of the first step guy. And that's sort of what Troy Weaver wanted last year before Monty was just give me a young assistant that we can grow this roster together. And when they brought in Monty, the clock started ticking. Like, no, we want you to be a playoff team or a play-in team this year, and that's just fool's gold. You can't do that with this roster that they had, and we saw that throughout the season. And I think we said it at the beginning of the year, is that the ceiling for this team is maybe play-in, but you can't have ceiling immediately the way that they were looking for that. So I think with JB, it's just going to be get to a certain level, and everybody wants to put a win total on this. For me, you get to 28 wins this year, and you've done something. You've changed the culture that we're not a team that wins in the teens, 17, 14. We're into the 20s, and if you get to 30 this year, you've finished the assignment. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. And again, in year two after that, then you can start looking, hey, maybe we can get to 36 and try to threaten for a play-in. Something like that, I think, is the trajectory that this roster is on right now.
Yeah, and I'm glad you actually kind of went there, this kind of last comment or statement, because I know you got to go soon. It's just surrounding the fact that this team, in totality, no matter if they've done what we wanted them to do or not, it is a better team right now. Ron Holland, and just kind of looking at his footage, the only thing that a lot of us kind of like, man, this has to improve is his shooting. And he's saying the same thing as well in the Pistons. They believe that they are set up to help him. When you kind of look at the other additions with Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., JB Bickerstaff, the thing that I like about those three, as well as what Ron Holland is already showing, is that those guys all want to be here. And in the past, maybe we would have misunderstood or defined it the wrong way. But after going through what we kind of went through with Monty Williams, who I think he's a good guy, but his heart and his mind probably was not all the way into this job, but we saw that effect. To have guys like that and free agents that want to actually be here and a coach, I think speaks volumes. And I don't know. I'm waiting to see what type of effect that actually has. When your coach is walking into that gym, you know that guys like Jaden Ivey are going to be put in their best possible position to succeed. I see why they say, you know what, maybe let's take a second to just assess things with this young roster. Let's make sure we get them the right types of vets who will be available. But overall, I agree with your overall assessment, Rod. This is going to be a better team next year. I believe a team that we look at them and we say, you know what, it's night and day, even if the wins aren't necessarily there.
Right, and one more piece about Ron Holland and getting these new free agents in. It suggests that you don't have to have Ron Holland come in and start immediately or even play significant minutes immediately because you have depth at those positions now. You brought in vets who can chew up some of those minutes. And you mentioned the availability of Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr. They're not going to be hurting on the bench and sulking in street clothes. These are guys who are going to play, and they're at positions where you have young guys who need to learn. Let them learn with a smaller number of minutes instead of having to come in and play big chunks immediately.
Yeah, I think that's the word. That's the word, man. So, Rod, as always, brother, thank you for your time. Gonna let you go. I appreciate you, man, for still saying the word, man. When you jump on with the Wake Up Woodward crew. As always, you drop in the heat. Thank you, brother. Thank you for answering all the questions. I know the fellas, they definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Rod.
Thanks, Rod.
Thanks, Rod.
All right, guys, we'll see you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And I know we got to get into this next segment because I am really, really, really eager. You've been teasing this thing all show. So I'm amped to be able to see what Flannel Sam has up his flannel sleeves for the Detroit Tigers.
It's maybe not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear.
Uh-oh.
Kick the dog, pet the dog, right?
I mean, that's real truth right there.
You know what, man? I'm just going to throw the phone number out there. Something tells me some people may want to say something with their chest after hearing this. 313-552-6322. Once again, that phone number, 313-552-6322. Once again, shout out to the legend, Detroit News Rod Beard, for the Woodward Pistons segment. Hey, brings the heat all the time. But thank you guys for always choosing to stay tapped in with the Wake Up Woodward show and Woodward Sports. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. with the Woo Crew. We appreciate you guys. Hit that like button and support your fellas. But after us, I'm hoping you guys are staying plugged in with the rest of Woodward Sports, starting with Big D Energy from 11 to 1. Four-time Stanley Cup champion winner Dan McCarty, alongside his host, Neil Rule, the Golden Voice. After that, you got Romani and Edwards with Maz from 2 to 4. The lovable radio legend, Tom Mazaway, alongside University of Michigan legend and former NFL wide receiver Brandon Edwards with Detroit Media King, Fox 2, Ryan Romani. After that, you get the big fellas, the Woodward Heavyweights. You got Spinmo Racks, Speak Easy, baby. Their elite booth, the tailgate always wins. Shout out to Nick Koloff and Chris Platten, man. They're bringing you the biggest interviews, the biggest breakdowns, the biggest laughs. Shout out to the heavies. And like I told you guys already, we appreciate you all for making Woodward Sports your #1 digital sports outlet.
What's up, everybody? Neil Rule, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, home of the Planet Fitness Studios. Let me tell you a little personal story about myself with Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness helped me change my life, and it can do the same for you. The best gym in the gym game. The clean facilities, tons of cardio equipment, tons of weights as well. And look, through all the price increases, inflation, all that, hasn't happened at Planet Fitness. Still $1 down, $10 per month, $24.99 a month for the Black Card as well. It's Planet Fitness, everybody, where your fitness is essential.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues, Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back with 10 plus years of experience and 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on the screen or call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
And you already know, Wake Up Woodward and Woodward Sports, we got your back as well. Now, you've been teasing this thing. You've been teasing. Hey, look, y'all, he's been teasing this topic all show. But before that, I need y'all to go ahead and smash that like button for the Woo Crew.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and hit that. But you're not about to sit here and tell me to trade Tarek Skubal, are you?
No, I am not.
Okay.
Quite the contrary.
Upset some people, though.
Okay.
Quite the contrary. But I believe there is somebody within the Detroit Tigers organization who is getting a free pass, but 100% needs to be held a little bit more accountable. And by a little bit more accountable, I mean paying the ultimate price. And let me set this up really quick.
Oh, you really don't like pause.
Let me set this up really quick. I teased earlier that the Detroit Tigers, yes, they have a myriad of problems. We know about Torque. We know about Javi. We know about Parker Meadows. We know about some of the failings with Chris Ilitch not wanting to spend, maybe Scott Harris making a questionable draft pick, which we won't know until later, but still doesn't look so good right now. We know about all of that. We know that there have been a myriad of players who have failed on this team this season, a ton. However, I personally believe, because I'm about valuing undervalued players, that this Tigers team has had objectively 7 position players who have had good seasons. 7 position players who would get a starting spot on even contending teams. And if you don't think so, look at the Dodgers and look at Gavin Lux and look at Jason Hayward. I'll just say that. I'll just give an example of that. But And those are Riley Green, Mark Canna, Matt Vierling, Wensiel Perez, Carson Kelly, Andy Ibanez, and of course, Kerry Carpenter, who is hurt now, so he can't play moving forward, but he certainly was a big part of the team moving forward. At least was not moving forward at the beginning of the season. But how often have you seen all of those guys on the field at the same time? Evidence will show you, and I'm going to give evidence of a couple of those guys, but probably 0 times. I will just say that. And for that reason, and for that reason alone, because of the way that the lineups have been mismanaged and they don't always get the best players out on the field, last night was my final straw. AJ Hinch should be fired as the manager of the Detroit Tigers. 100%. But you know what? I'm not just going to give you cliche stuff like, oh, he doesn't seem like he cares, or oh, they need a new voice, or anything like that. I am going to give you some cold, hard evidence to how badly AJ Hinch has mismanaged this lineup. Let me start with one Kerry Carpenter. For those of you who don't remember, Kerry Carpenter, I know he's hurt now and it's irrelevant now, but he played 50 games. Remember last season, remember 2023 when Kerry Carpenter led the Detroit Tigers in OPS. I believe that AJ Hinch, he valued Kerry Carpenter as just kind of a platoon guy. He thought like some of us fans who, when you brought up Kerry Carpenter, like, oh, he's 26. Oh, he's not really anything special. But Kerry Carpenter, during his time with the Detroit Tigers this season, had a 914 OPS. A 914 OPS, that's all-star level. That's start the all-star game level. But yet, there were 7 games at the beginning of the season in which Kerry Carpenter either had 0 at-bats, didn't play but was healthy enough to play, or had 1 at-bat, which meant he was a pinch hitter or he was pinch hit for. In 2 of those games, he pinch hit for, and those are 7 games. Those aren't even 7 games. Those are 7 losses. I'll say 7 losses. They did it more often, but in 7 losses. In 2 of those games, Kerry Carpenter pinch hit for Parker Meadows. What does that tell you? That there were actually 2 games this season in which Parker Meadows started over Kerry Carpenter. That's malfeasance. I'll just say that. And there was another game in which Matt Vierling pinch hit for Kerry Carpenter. Kerry Carpenter actually got the start. It was that May 3rd 2-1 loss to the Yankees. Do you know who didn't get pinch hit for in that game? Torque, McKinstry, Jake Rogers, Javier Baez. Why are you pinch hitting for Kerry Carpenter, but you're letting these guys stay in the game? That's a bad move. How about the couple games, 1 to the Astros, 1 in a loss to the Astros, and 1 in a loss to the Marlins, in which Kerry Carpenter did not play in the entire game because there was a left-handed starting pitcher. Franmir Valdez in 1 and Ryan Weathers in the others. A 5-2 loss to the Astros and a 1-0 loss to the Marlins. But do you know who did play in those games? Spencer Torkelson, Javi Baez, and Jake Rogers. And if you want to say Kerry Carpenter wasn't that good against lefties this year, that's true. He had 18 plate appearances. However, in 2023 against lefties, Kerry Carpenter had an on-base percentage of .333. On this team, a .333 on-base percentage, would be second on the team, by the way, to Riley Green. That's kind of unfortunate in and of itself. But the point is that Kerry Carpenter should have never been a platoon guy. He should have gotten his opportunities to play every day from the beginning. However, I'm not done. May 19th, 6-4 loss to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Carpenter pinch hit in that game. But do you know who started that game? Spencer Torkelson, Javi Baez. May 22nd, 8-3 loss to the Kansas City Royals. Carpenter was a pinch hitter. Do you know who started and played the whole game? Spencer Torkelson, Javi Baez, Jake Rogers. The point is that I think that AJ Hinch even undervalued his own guy in Kerry Carpenter, even undervalued a guy who was the best hitter on the team. And Kerry Carpenter, I believe, playing those whole games could have made a difference and gotten you a couple of extra wins. I have determined that for this and other reasons that, and this is a Moneyball reference, he's Art Howe, he's not Peter Brand. He would have started Pena over Hatterberg. That's the kind of manager that I think AJ Hinch is, and it's unfortunate for me to see for sure. KG, quick rebuttal.
Okay. I just want to start off by saying...
I'm not done, by the way, but quick rebuttal.
No, I want you to finish. I want you to get your shit off first before I
do have a quick.
Go ahead.
2 things. One, remind me to never get on your bad side because you are a menace with information aggregation. 2, so you're telling me that everything you're seeing right now, you're laying out the case that this is purely AJ Hinch. It's not just about what Scott Harris has or hasn't given him.
I'm saying that Scott Harris deserves his fault. Chris Ilitch deserves his fault, and nobody could have foreseen what happened to Spencer Torkelson. My thing, and it'll make it a little bit more clear in a second, is that I think AJ Hinch has criminally undervalued some of his players. I'm gonna give you a couple more in a second. Those two players that I am about to mention right now are Carson Kelly and Andy Ibanez. Let me start with Carson Kelly. Carson Kelly this year has had 23 fewer at-bats than Jake Rogers. Carson Kelly has a 41 points higher average, 70 points higher on-base percentage, 112 points higher OPS, and, by the way, for the people who say that Jake Rogers is basically, Jake Molina or Yadier Rogers, Carson Kelly has a higher defensive WAR. Those are just numbers. And the fact that Jake Rogers gets started at catcher and plays more often than Carson Kelly is absolute malfeasance. And if you want to say that Jake Rogers is Tarek Skubal's personal catcher, fine. Start that game. Carson Kelly's got a DH. And Carson Kelly's got a catch for every other pitcher on the roster besides for Tarek Skubal. But what may even be more egregious of all is what has been done to Andy Ibanez. And yes, Andy Ibanez missed some games in April. He missed like 18 games or something like that, 20. But ever since April 30th and ever since May, he has been 100% healthy. However, Andy Ibanez has the 13th most at-bats on this team. 13th. He has fewer at-bats than Colt Keith, fewer at-bats than Torque, fewer than Javi, fewer than Zach McKinstry, fewer than Gio Urshela. But he is first on the team in batting average, fourth on the team in on-base percentage, third on the team in OPS, and third on the team in wins above replacement. And for people who want to say that Andy Ibanez hasn't done well against right-handed pitching this year, that's true. However, he deserves the opportunity over some of the guys that I just mentioned to figure it out against righties. Is it like, and he's absolutely murdered left-handed pitching. You got to make Andy Ibanez an everyday player. And for the record, for the people who want to say if you played them every day that their numbers would decrease, that may be true, but they have both deserved the opportunity over some of the guys that are being trotted out there every single day. And my last straw, here was my last straw. Here's why it was so pertinent for me to talk about this today, is because Sunday's win against the Angels, you had Andy Ibanez and Carson Kelly out there. Andy Ibanez and Carson Kelly were two of the keys of their offense in them winning that game. It was Andy Ibanez, Carson Kelly, and Justin Henry Malloy. So surely on Tuesday against the Twins, they would both be in the lineup. Not only were both of them not in the lineup, neither of them was in the lineup, and they lost. And furthermore, do you know how many times that Andy Ibanez and Carson Kelly have started together this year?
How many?
6. 6 out of 85 games. I truly believe that if AJ Hinch did a better job in the beginning of the year of playing more Kerry Carpenter and throughout the entire season of getting more at-bats for Carson Kelly and Andy Ibanez, as opposed to like Javi Baez, Spencer Torkelson, and like Colt Keith and all of that, that you would at least get the most out of this team, or you would at least know. And I believe that AJ Hinch is criminally undervaluing his own players.
All right. So, like I was about to say, first of all, I do agree with you that AJ Hinch has not been perfect through this whole thing. I can agree with you there. But when you look at just how many holes are on this team, especially in the infield, you don't have a first baseman. Second base is questionable. You have the worst shortstop position in baseball, and third base is also up in the air. And yeah, he could have made some different lineup changes and maybe we would have yielded better results, but he's also a big reason why the Tigers got off to such a hot start at the beginning of the year with some of his managerial choices. So I hate to put my Neil Rule hat on here, but is there any other manager that could come into AJ Hinch's position right now with this team as it is currently sitting and do a better job than what AJ Hinch has done to this point?
Manager Flannel Sam could, and I'm dead ass serious.
You're not a manager.
I am dead ass serious. No. Here's the thing.
He's serious.
It's a philosophical thing. Yes, I realize that with the 6 players that are currently healthy that have had good years to me, you still have 3 holes to fill. I understand that. But it's just, given the fact that you've only seen Andy Ibanez and Carson Kelly start together 6 times out of 85 games, I really believe, I didn't do all of the research for that because that would have taken probably 12 hours. That whole lineup and that whole list of the 6 players that have actually had good seasons for the Detroit Tigers and would start on contending teams, I don't think that they've all ever started in a game together one time. And especially with the DH position, you can figure out kind of like positional things. You can put Carson Kelly at catcher. You can put one of them at DH. You could put Matt Vierling all over the place. You could put Mark Canha in the outfield or in the infield. Riley Green, of course, is going to play the outfield. Wenceel Perez, you could put on the infield or outfield. It's just, you're going to have a lineup every day with some guys who shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But every day you should have the guys who should be there. But you've never seen it. And that's my problem. Like I said, I thought that AJ Hinch was going to be a Peter Brand. He's an Art Howe. Yeah. He would have 100% started Pena over Hatteberg. That's a Moneyball reference. A lot of that, what happened in actual life, wasn't quite accurate in the movie. That's the Moneyball movie reference.
Can we at least say, okay, Spencer Torkelson and Javi Baez. Spencer Torkelson was your 1-1 pick that you're trying to figure out, is he going to be that guy on this team? And then with Javi Baez, we all know, I mean, it's speculation, but we all kind of know that maybe AJ Hinch is being handcuffed with the Javi Baez situation in that contract. So none of that equates to you at all. Also, the reason that they got off to such a hot start was because of AJ Hinch?
I can say that AJ Hinch did a good job in the month of April. I can also say that he's been the worst manager in baseball in May and June. I know that there might have been somebody who's worse, but how their record has fallen off a cliff, and I understand Kerry Carpenter's been hurt, that's hurt the team, but they've been absolutely awful in the month of May and June. And my point, and I've been very consistent with this, that I value what I've seen from a Carson Kelly. You might hear Carson Kelly and just kind of think, he's mid. But when you look at his numbers as compared to Jake Rogers, he should be out there way more often than Jake Rogers. But he's not. Jake Rogers is out there more often than Carson Kelly. You look at what Andy Ibanez has done, and when you watch him play, you see, man, he seems like one of the best Tigers hitters. He's always coming up with a big hit, but it's not just what it seems like. It's actually played out by the evidence that he leads the team in batting average, is what? 3rd on on-base percentage, 4th on on-base percentage, 3rd in OPS, and 3rd in WAR. But yet I have to see games consistently, a plethora of games in which neither of them are out there. But I see Akil Baddoo, Ryan Kreidler, Colt Keith. You look at last night, Justin Henry Malloy is a little bit better. And it's you're going to have some of those guys in there. But you can't take 2 of them out to fit in Carson Kelly and Andy Ibanez. Sure you can. AJ Hinch values those players like casual fans do. Yes, I said it. He values those players like casual fans do. He doesn't look into it. He just hears the name Andy Ibanez and thinks, oh, bridge, stopgap. He hears a name like Carson Kelly and says oh, mid. He's just Carson Kelly. When in reality, Carson Kelly would start for the Cleveland Guardians. Carson Kelly might start for the New York Yankees. That's how good that he has been.
At one point, you wanted to blast Carson Kelly to the moon. But
I didn't want to blast him.
At one point, you were really down on him. And I do get it, man. I don't think you're wrong. I just think you're jumping the gun a little bit. That's a bit strong. Brother, am I missing something here?
No, he's definitely jumping the gun, which we should talk about.
Yeah. I want you guys all to respond.
Let's
after
get
we
my
come
real
back from
baseball guy over here.
No, you're right there with me. You both are right there with me. It's a differing of opinions.
Because I didn't play the game.
I didn't say it.
No.
Oh,
KG
man.
implied it.
Nah, I know.
KG implied it.
I know you didn't say it. KG definitely implied it. There's some coded language, as they would say.
Jeez, man, this is some awesome Tigers talk. I can't wait. We're continuing this on in the next segment. But let me tell you about something else that's awesome. Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That is Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, and relax, and let one of Lady Jane's talented hairstylists make you look and feel great. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's is wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians, they take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. It is 24/7 professional monitoring. So you can call us anytime, day or night, and know that a team member or Guardian team member will stay on the phone with you as long as needed, because it is technology that is backed by people, and your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who've been proven to care. All you got to do is call this number right here. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Once again, that number is 1-800-STAY-OUT. What up, though? People, welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We've had General Manager Flannel Sam. We've had just baseball manager Flannel Sam.
Ready to step in for AJ Hinch at any minute now.
Listen, and he's serious. He's serious. But he stated a compelling case. If you disagree, if you agree, call in 313-552-6322. Say it with your chest. And for me personally, it's going to continue to revolve around what Scott Harris has or hasn't done to this point.
You're only as good as the sum of your parts, man.
I do think that plays a big role, but I do get what you're saying as well, Flannel, that you believe there's more AJ Hinch could be doing with what he has.
I just think I really don't like this notion, and I get it. They're a bad baseball team, and maybe if Andy Ibanez and Carson Kelly did play every day, they would go into a slump. I think they've earned the right to find that out. And I don't subscribe to this theory that Jesus Christ, Sparky Anderson, and Jim Leland combined couldn't manage this team. I don't agree with that. I think that there's more moves that could be made, at least in terms of lineup construction, that could make this team play at their absolute best. And as you guys said, even with the guys that I mentioned, you're still going to have some guys who have had terrible years in the lineup, but I want more guys who've had good years. That's my point.
I just think you can make that point without putting AJ Hinch on the hot seat right now.
But why does AJ Hinch always get a pass for everything? He gets more passes than Jared Goff throws.
I'm not saying he should get a pass, but just look at this team at this point, man. It was never going to be good. That's just me, though. But I feel like you can make all your points. You're not wrong. Once again, you're not wrong. But saying that he should be on the hot seat with this mess is a little strong for me.
No, he said he should be fired.
Yes, fired. Shot into oblivion. I don't even care at this point.
We just skipped over the hot seat portion of it.
Yes.
We just completely blew through the hot seat, which I don't even think
that's
is
a good
on.
point.
That's right, because you had
point.
a take, man, before the break. I'm ready to hear this.
So very little of what Flannel just said is wrong. I mean, a lot of what he said is very accurate. I mean, and I can love you like that. I can make you my world, but it's not enough to put him on the hot seat, or definitely not fire him yet. He's only playing with, I mean, this lineup construction. Let me start over. My problem with AJ Hinch actually is the analytics part of it. I tend to be more old school in my thought process. Like, I would prefer, especially if I was a pitcher in a bullpen, I want to know my role. Like, I want to know I'm the 7th inning guy, or I'm the 8th inning high leverage guy, or I'm Jason Foley, I'm your closer. When it's a 1-0 game, or when we're up by 1 run at the end of the game, I'm pitching now. Not waiting around all game, waiting to see how the game plays out, seeing what matchups present themselves, what the other manager's doing. You're waiting around and you don't know yet what type of game you're going into. I want roles like that, which is why I would prefer a little bit more consistency with the lineup construction. Whether that's Kerry Carpenter in there more, whatever moves you want to make, I would prefer more consistency versus every single game just playing the matchups. But
yeah,
like when we talk, and I'm with you on Kerry Carpenter in general, but when we talk about playing Parker Meadows in front of Kerry Carpenter earlier in the season, that's coming down from above. That's a long-term strategy. They're trying to evaluate Parker Meadows. They know he can play defense. They didn't expect him to literally not be able to hit an off-speed pitch, which he still can't in AAA. That's the reason he's still down in Toledo. He's mashing fastballs. He can't hit an off-speed pitch. So he's going to come back to the bigs if we want to bring him up now, and he's still not going to be able to hit a curveball. So he doesn't have much to work with. Like, this whole offensive roster, especially with Torkelson not panning out, especially with when Canna's cold or when Urshela is cold, like, it's a bunch of 7, 8, 9 hitters on mediocre teams in your 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. Like, Riley Green's the only hitter on this team right now who would hit in the top 4 of most, if not all, lineups in the bigs today. There's just a lot. There's a lot he can't control. He's doing. I think he's doing the best with what he's got. He hasn't been good in the last month. Tigers have been awful in May and June. I'm with you, but it's not enough to put him on the hot seat yet. Not yet. He just signed an extension in December. He's on the Colt Keith contract for the staff, for the coaching staff. Like Scott Harris spent a year evaluating him. All right, Hinch is my guy. We're going to battle together. I don't think he's even on the hot seat next year.
No.
But we can start talking. If we have another bad year, even planning 2-3 years in advance, then we can talk hot seat. He's not even being considered being moved this season.
And that's what I was going to ask you as well. Is there any consideration from you to say, you know what, let me see what AJ Hinch can do next year if Scott Harris can pull some things together? Or do you believe with the type of manager or with the type of general manager that Scott Harris shows himself to be, that you need a manager that can get the most out of the roster at any given moment?
If you want me to be honest, I think that AJ Hinch's original sin and something that he can't come back from, to me, barring something miraculous, obviously, is undervaluing your own players, treating your own players like your casual fans who have never even heard of these guys. I said at the beginning that all of the guys that I mentioned would, even a guy like Wenzel Perez, even a guy like Matt Vierling, and people will vehemently disagree with me, they would start for most contending teams. Andy Ibanez, by the way, and Carson Kelly would start for some contending teams. I already gave you, look at the catcher situation in Cleveland. I'll just say that. Look at the catcher situation with the Yankees. I mean, look at some of these guys that even the Yankees are trotting out there. Gleyber Torres is awful. Anthony Rizzo is terrible. He's washed. Trevino, Austin Wells, Alex Verdugo, Riley Green blows Alex Verdugo away. I know we're not talking about Riley Green, but still, he's one of those good guys. You look at the Dodgers. Chris Taylor, bum. Gavin Lux. He's got a name like Tarzan and a game like Jane. All I've ever heard about is Gavin Lux is this amazing next player. He's terrible, but he still plays every day. Andy Pages, Cedric Mullins for Baltimore, Colton Cowser, bum. Jorge Mateo, Ramon Urias, like guys like that. Guys like even Andy Ibanez would start in Baltimore and the Dodgers, probably more games than he starts with the Detroit Tigers. And that just burns me inside. And it's like, if stuff at the beginning was coming from above, and if Javi Baez is coming from above, what does AJ Hinch even do? What does he even do?
I just don't know, because some of those players that you named had bad stretches earlier in the year to the point where we even brought their names up and saying we don't want these guys to see more playing time right now. So I just think it's just a game of stretches, man. Yes, they're on a good stretch right now, but how much is it really worth? You know, that's just me though.
I'm looking at it for half the season, and that's why I didn't make this kind of a declaration. Obviously, I would never make it after April or even March. I've seen too much consistent success with, obviously at the beginning of the year with Kerry Carpenter when he was your best hitter and Hinch was treating him like a platoon guy. And then with the guys that I mentioned, Carson Kelly and Andy Ibanez, where Andy Ibanez is just a guy that often pinch hits, but every time he starts, I see him coming up with big plays. And to me with Carson Kelly, it's not even so much about how good Carson Kelly is, which he has been good. Nobody can deny that.
Yes.
It's about how awful Jake Rogers is. Awful. He's horrendous. He's unplayable. The last maybe remaining vestige of positivity from the Justin Verlander trade, which was Jake Rogers last year, he's completely turned into a pumpkin. And Carson Kelly is good, but yet more often than not, and the numbers, and it's borne out by the numbers, you see C, Jake Rogers. And I'm like, here we go again. And then Carson Kelly, when he plays a lot better. His OPS is 112 points better than Jake Rogers is. 112. Jake Rogers has an OPS that starts with a 5.
Flannel,
with a 5.
Flannel, what's been the best part of this team? Like, what is their best unit?
That's a setup question.
It's changed so much.
I would say starting pitching.
Thank you.
Yes.
And
I would say starting pitching.
Jake Rogers has a lot to do with that. Like I get where you're at with that, and catcher's the one position I'll defend. And I don't mean to bring down Carson Kelly. This isn't a shot at him, but at least a little justification for why Jake Rogers is playing so much. I'll sacrifice offense if you have an elite catcher calling a game. He's not an elite defender. He's a good defender. And you even brought up the Carson Kelly stats. He's better. What was the stat you brought up with Carson Kelly?
Even his defensive WAR is higher.
Yeah.
Yes.
But as a pitcher, when you have a catcher like that you trust the game he calls. Even you talked to Tarek Skubal, and they teased a segment they're putting on inside the Tigers' den, whatever their inside the den is for the Tigers, where they interviewed Carson Kelly and Jake Rogers, and they talked about, hey, if this is the kind of guy Tarek Skubal is. You go up and interview him, you ask him about a certain at-bat or pitch, and he'll be like, I don't know, like ask Jake Rogers or ask the catcher. Like they rely so heavily on the catcher. So I don't want to – Jake Rogers hasn't done anything offensively for me to defend him there. He hits a couple bombs here and there, but his value as a catcher is more than it seems. He's just – because this team is so bad – this offense is so bad, it gets magnified.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, and for the record, I did say at the beginning that if Tarek Skubal wants Jake Rogers, Tarek Skubal can have Jake Rogers. And my point with that is, if you want to start Jake Rogers at catcher, maybe I would say 3 times out of every 5, put Carson Kelly at DH. I'm dead serious. Maneuver it any way that you can to put Carson Kelly and Andy Ibanez on the field at the same time. And one thing that consistently bothers me with like the chat and with the discourse, because I'm sure if Neil Rule gets a hold of it, he's going to say the same thing, and everybody's going to say the same thing, that there's just nothing nothing could be done. They should have spent. They should have drafted Wyatt Langford. All of that stuff, all of that like kind of stuff that is what's done is done. My point is that there are things that could be done. It's a suggestion to help this team now. It's a suggestion to improve their offense right now, which is the weakness of their team. And nobody else has anything. And I'm not attacking you or anything for that. So for people who are just like, clowning me for this, what's your suggestion? Because it seems like a lot of people's suggestion is this team is terrible. And that's it. Should have signed Matt Chapman. Should have signed JD Martinez. Should have drafted Wyatt Langford. That may be the case. But what's done is done. I'm not living in that hypotheticals. I'm living in what could be done right now. And I think AJ Hinch, the job that he has done in May and June in terms of managing this lineup has been malfeasance. It's been terroristic. Yeah. It has.
Terroristic.
I was so close to being like, wow. Dude, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. And then we got malfeasance.
We called Monty Williams a terrorist. We did.
But
I did not.
That's different though, man. But can we at least wait till the end of the year before we start making declarations that he could be fired or that he should be fired?
Nope, did it today. I'm not taking back what I said.
I'm not going to hold you, man. I'm going to snitch, bro. Neil Rule is going to hear about this. He goes, I'm going to snitch. I'm going to snitch, bro.
And that's fine. And that's fine. All I'm saying is that I've got suggestions. And as I said before, I'm open to the possibility that Andy Ibanez is more of a left-handed pitching merchant. I'm open to the possibility that Carson Kelly is only as good as he is offensively because he's not playing every day. Give him a chance to find out. Yeah. Put your best players out there. And if they succeed, this offense is better. And if they fail, I will STF you. However, it's never going to happen because, as I said before, Andy Ibanez and Carson Kelly have only started together 6 times this year. 6. To me, that's malfeasance, and their record and their offense is kind of bearing that out. I'm not saying that's the only reason. There's a plethora of problems, but when your offense is this bad, you got to get the best guys out there every day, and AJ Hinch is just quite simply not doing it.
Hey, shout out to Real K. Collins. I'm with Sam on this one.
Thank you.
Like all the way to firing the real Kay Collins?
That's crazy.
Because I'm
shout
just
out
saying
Kay
on a lot of
Collins.
his
That's my guy.
points, I'm just not even, the seat isn't even hot for me. I don't disagree with, I can't remember what I don't disagree with you about. Might not be anything. But it's not even hot.
Yeah, I feel like those points are really, really good points. But when you're talking about the type of talent or the lack thereof on this squad, it's just like, man, I really want to see what he can do. Like, okay, you move forward into next year. You fire AJ Hinch. You're comfortable with whoever else they bring in to manage the talent that Scott Harris may or may not get? Or it doesn't matter to you. It's just launch him into the moon. We'll figure everything out later. Because I do feel like he's the best.
You don't think he manages differently with better talent on the field?
But that's the thing. Anybody who's going to, because I know people are going to go crazy. He was a World Series winning manager. Yeah, but I mean, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman, Marwin Gonzalez, Justin Verlander.
Develop up through the Astro system.
I understand that, but that was a loaded team. That was a loaded team. And if you say that AJ Hinch can manage better, more talented teams better, that's all well and good. My point is that it is a sin to me when you undervalue your own players. That's the thing that I hate more than anything in the world. And for the record, I saw Just a Fan say that, I guess my hypothetical, if Andy Ibanez and Carson Kelly, if AJ Hinch did this for like 10 days and it didn't work out, it'd be all AJ Hinch's fault. False. Then I would stand down and say that there is absolutely nothing that can be done with this roster. My point is that hasn't been done and that will not be done. And I think it's a shame because I don't want to live in a world where the only thing Tiger fans can do is, opine for JD Martinez and Wyatt Langford and not think of solutions for the here and now. Because I'm kind of over it.
Well, now you got people opining for Osmus. Bring back Osmus. Look what you started.
Miss me with that one. Miss me with that one.
At least Hinch is trying something. I wish he would bunt a little bit more, but at least he's
right.
There are a couple hit and runs here, some stolen bases. Osmus was the worst manager in Tigers history. He had the opportunity of a lifetime.
He had a ready-made team.
He was a Ryan Day of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
He was handed the keys to a Corvette.
And at least Ryan Day did something. Like, Brett Osmus did nothing.
That was the most boring team to watch in the history of baseball. And they had guys on that team that were exciting. He did nothing.
I'm a Michigan fan, but like Ryan Day is at least like he beats everybody but Michigan and like the top teams in bowl games in the college football playoff. Brad Osmus was handed a Ferrari and crashed it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the roster got torn down to shreds.
In the parking lot, though.
He got a Maserati.
KG, what are you doing, though, in about a month if the Tigers don't bunt at all, and then you got Broder on flannel side?
Broder will not be on flannel side. I almost can take it to the bank that he won't be. But
how the tables have turned.
Guys. I mean, I do get it right now.
Watch him not bunt at all for the next month, and it costs him one game.
If that's not his philosophy, then it's not it, man. I get it, man. But he's going to be here, ladies and gentlemen. He's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future.
He's tied to Scott Harris. And it might not work out. This is where Scott Harris's philosophy, it's all got to work. But Scott Harris and AJ Hinch, they're two peas in a pod. They think alike. They are very analytical minded. They're tied together. That's why Scott Harris extended him for so long. To me, not on a hot seat. We'll talk this offseason if it's hot seat worthy. But again, a lot of it, most of Flannel's points were spot on. I'm just not ready to go that far.
We gotta find a way to simulate this on some type of game. We gotta have a season of general manager front office Flannel, bro.
Yeah, and like I said, and this is the last time I'll mention it, but for anybody who's, like I appreciate that you guys say that you don't like my conclusion, but you can at least understand where I'm coming from. For people who think that I'm on drugs or something for this opinion, what's your solution? I know what your solution is. This team just blows and Jesus Christ himself couldn't manage it. That's not a solution. Oh, JD Martinez. Oh, Matt Chapman. Oh, Justin Turner. That's not a solution. Would they have made the team better? Yes. What's done is done. They drafted Max Clark over Wyatt Langford. What's done is done. That's all I'm saying.
Now they just need to sign the most dominant athlete on the planet, Joey Chestnut.
They need to sign a free agent. No, I'll wait for that.
We'll get front office Flannel next week.
Right? And Tigers, if y'all fire AJ this week, Flannel is ready to take the job. He is ready, man. He's ready to step here right away.
I'd start Andy Ibanez and Carson Kelly every day. You won't, AJ Hinch. Because you've had a crappy May and June. No, crappy is an understatement.
We're going to have to get our esports division back going at Woodward Sports because we got to get front office flannel going on PlayStation, Xbox, whatever your fancy, bro. We got to follow this thing through, for real. It's going to be funny. But I know we got a lot of bills to pay. We got a couple dope segments that I know everyone's looking forward to. We got JB Smooth. We got the mailbag segment. Get your mailbag questions in. First, let me tell you about Swiss, and then JB has a message for you as well. Something very, very important that you want to be tapped into, especially if you're a fan of that Detroit Science shirt. But first, let me tell you about Swiss Insurance. Now more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss Insurance will make sure that your current carrier is not slipping in any extra fees.
Take that.
He was waiting for it.
Oh my God.
Good job, JB.
213-530-1698. Visit them online, SwissINS.com, and let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
And you know what else? Woodward Sports can send you some merch. If you go to woodwardsports.com and you click on that shop tab, you can get rid of that Welcome to Detroit sign merch.
Boy is
but
not
you know
selling.
what? You know what is selling? The hashtag Boo Them Kids. Because you know you don't want to get Joe Cox out here. But anyway. I want to get Joe Cox out here. Anyway, we got the Tiger sweatshirts as well too. And you can't forget about the Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes election t-shirts, hoodies, and hats as well too. I know I'm gonna vote for them. You better too. Go over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab, get swagged out.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at RandyWiseBuickGMC.com.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
We are the network for Detroit, by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true. And of course, afterwards, you got to celebrate getting a new house with some Soroki's. Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza is taking over Michigan, known for their quality hand-battered and hand-breaded chicken tenders, sandwiches, and New York-style pizza. Locations are popping up all over Metro Detroit, doubling the number of restaurants this year. Soroki's just had their grand opening in Madison Heights. Be sure to stop in and try at a mega station near you or go to Sorokis.com.
What up, dope people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. Every now and then, man, I look into the comments. Not every now and then, a lot. And I just find something that makes me laugh. Shout out to CK. I appreciate you guys for supporting Wake Up Woodward, the Woo Crew. He said, woo them mamas.
Hey,
I like that.
I don't woo some mamas in my day.
WUW them mamas. Oh my God, son. I love the chat family. As always, you guys are the most important part of this show. Go ahead and smash that like button, especially for what's next. It's time to cook up, JB.
Let's do it.
Let's cook up.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Ladies and gentlemen, J Bizzle.
Let's rock.
Yo, what's up, fellas?
What up, though?
What's going on, broder?
Oh, boy.
I don't know, the nastiness you just be sending me in the chats and everything like this. What is this, man?
Oh.
I don't know who told these kids to do this, but this is not the proper way you do a push-up. This is not the proper way you have a push-up contest.
All right.
Get that boy a cigarette, man.
Does he have to be right there?
That boy get ready for life, man. That boy get ready for life.
I saw this is a middle of the inning push-up contest. Like, look at
This is terrible, man. Why?
That is pony genuine if I've ever seen one.
Oh my God.
That's the last comment I'll make on a
That boy gonna be an OnlyFans model one day.
Oh my God.
He didn't even win. What the hell?
That's
he
horrible.
didn't do any push-ups.
Nobody taught that boy how to do a proper push-up, man.
He's trying to get that six-pack.
No, he trying to get more than a six-pack.
Eric Allen, that's exactly how you do a Pound Town contest.
Jesus.
Curb dash, that boy hit that like button. Oh my God.
The China virus. Laugh out loud. His parents watch too much MTV.
Right.
I just hear Fano like,
This generation of kids, man, they different, man. They different for sure.
These kids built different. KG,
what up, man?
Man,
it's hard to top that first one.
I know it's hard to top that first one, but just get prepared. Don't get too excited about this, but
all right.
WCW might be coming back.
Oh, come on. Women Crush Wednesday?
WCW might be coming back. WWE is trying to bring back WCW as soon as they come onto Netflix, which will be next year. And this will be a separate entity of, the Monday Night Raws and your SmackDowns as well, too. So completely different roster and everything. What do you think?
I feel like it'll work better this time around because we saw Vince McMahon try to do this with ECW and it was an abject failure. There was a few standouts from that new ECW, but it was an abject failure. It wasn't the same type of product, but WCW coming back now under the Triple H regime, I'm all for it, bro. You got enough superstars to make it work. A lot of up-and-coming superstars that maybe aren't getting that shine on the main roster. You send them over to WCW, which is a legitimate brand. It's not NXT. It's not developmental. I like it, bro. What you feel about it, man? I like it.
I want to see it back. I want to see this happen so bad. I want to see another Nitro. I don't care what you got to call it. Thursday Night Nitro, Saturday Nitro. It doesn't matter. Just bring it back. This adds. They have the roster for it.
They got the World Heavyweight Championship. Send that to WCW.
See? It's perfect. Everything's in place for this. Hopefully this actually happens, but who knows? But once again, shout out to my man Dante151 for sending this over to me as well, so we can talk about this. But man, I'm excited for it. Hopefully it works, but who knows?
As someone who enjoys writing, I'm a writer. Just the headline: WWE could bring back the WCW brand, and it would do great numbers on Netflix. I don't know. It's just a funny sentence to me. They bring it back. It would do great numbers.
It is.
Trust me.
Somebody who, was like a really, really big figure in wrestling when I was really dialed in as a kid and as a teen, Triple H. Can y'all just explain, in NBA terms or NFL terms, exactly what he's done to revitalize wrestling in general?
Well, with Vince McMahon, he did a lot of gimmicky stuff, a lot of dated stuff. He would make these wrestlers have gimmicks that were kind of like 80s, 90-ish type of gimmicks, and it just wasn't progressing well. With Triple H, he's brought back long-term storytelling in which you have a feud, but you play it out over months and maybe even a year before you get that big payoff and things of that nature. And he's just giving people matches that they want to see. With Vince, it was always a hold up. He wouldn't really give people the matches that they want, but Triple H is more like a Dana White in terms of okay, he's putting on the matches people want to see and giving people the storylines that they want to see.
Yeah, it was more entertainment.
Writers then from this past season. Because this past season, the NFL had some storylines.
Oh, big facts. Big facts.
Hey, the scripts wasn't that bad. You got Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce out of it, but whatever.
Lions beat Matthew Stafford in the playoffs.
They did.
Playoffs. Playoffs there. Broder, man, I'm going to need you to get your grandpa, though. I don't think you need to let him out at the clubs anymore.
Hey. Hey. This is Broder at 80 years old, bro.
Still winning Bar King.
I'm waiting for. Okay, here we go.
Yes,
Popped up on my
sir.
computer.
King Broder, bro.
Yes, sir. Hey.
Grind on me.
Yes, sir.
Na-na-na. Dude, he is getting.
I know you want to make love. Yes, sir.
Your body. Burning up.
That's hilarious, man. Who granddad is this?
Hey.
Broder, this is your future, man. How you feel, man?
Dad?
Yeah.
Brother, will you let me ride with you when you're in your 80s?
Look at all those girls surrounding him.
Yeah.
It's all girls.
Grandpa
Except for that
got
one
some
dude.
bad
Trajectory.
Grandpa got the riz, as the kids would say.
Got the shirt tucked in, the jeans sagging low.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, age only matters with wine and cheese. I see you, Gromit.
Hey.
Hey, what can I say? Grandpa's got the riz out there. And finally, I will end it on this.
Great, what's trending?
Don't ever scan anyone's QR code when you're out. Just a forewarning.
Oh, boy. Actually, really clever.
Just don't do
Can't
don't
scan
do it.
everybody QR code, man. That's creative, though. I would buy that hoodie in a
What kind of
heartbeat.
shirt?
Snap.
I
You know
would-
what? That is creative. We got to do something like that in the Woodward shop.
Yeah,
man.
I would buy that shirt in a
Straight
heartbeat.
up.
Real talk, to be serious, be careful / don't scan stuff like that. Like, that is an easy way for hackers to get into all your
Woo!
stuff.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah,
Just
honestly, yeah.
Be careful.
Goodness.
Don't.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, just speaking of hackers, just just
especially
don't
right now.
just don't do it, especially right now what we've been through. But that's it for what's trending. Let's play some bills and hop in the mailbag.
Man, I need that
Premium
shirt.
X
Broder
is out
just-
there.
My whole mind was like, oh man, bro.
You got triggered right there for a second.
I gotta go check to make sure it's still up. But no, straight up, we got the mailbag segment on the way, and I told you guys yesterday. I'm gonna continue to tell you all. Stay tapped in to Woodward Sports socials, especially on X, as we are getting back to the swing of things there. We have a jersey winner. Somebody won a classic number 20 Barry Sanders football jersey. So, hey, we got the winner. We're going to announce him during our mailbag segment.
With the new Lions design? The new jersey design? Oh, a classic. Okay, got you.
Yep. Shout out to Stick as well, and to everybody else here at the company chat and everybody who made it possible. We got a lot more giveaways on the way. So stay plugged, stay tapped in, bring more people, because the more people that are following, the more giveaways we're able to do. So definitely, you guys got to stay tapped in, and we will be bringing some more chat giveaways as well. So, all right, what business we got to take care of, brother?
Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
Yep, let me tell you about the Boys and Girls Club. About Metro Detroit. Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit. It's the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League. Offers youth ages 5 to 14 with 6 exciting teams to choose from in Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. All their coaches are trained, certified, and undergo background checks. That's huge. Register for football or cheer at bgcsm.org. They got equipment, meals, transportation. It's all included. All for your chance to play for a championship. Whoa, play for a championship at Ford Field for just $175 per child, going to a good cause. Put the youth back in youth sports with BGC SM 3C Sports.
Let's go.
And you want to tell them about Randy Wise?
I will tell them about Randy Wise. How would you like to play the University of Michigan golf course with Braylon Edwards? Go blue. Nice flannel, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Register today, and you could round off our foursome at woodwardsports.com.
Pause.
Or scan the code on the screen. I was really just trying to zoom straight through that. Thank you, JB. JB Bickersmith.
Topping off a foursome. I'm not doing that, cuz. I'm good on that, cuz.
This is your content.
Who did this read, man? This is just a setup read.
Register at woodwardsports.com or scan the QR code on the screen. When it comes to your next car or truck, make the wise decision. Randy Wise Automotive.
I like Braylon. I'm not doing that, though.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
Oh. Never mind. He made the wise choice. Yep.
Make the wise choice at RandyWiseBuickGMC.com.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and every Thursday during Armani and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
Oh.
What up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. And I know we got our mailbag segment on the way. Let's we'll get that Feldman read out the way right now, actually. We got callers, we got jersey giveaways. It's a lot going on, and we want you all to get your mailbag questions in.
Hey, Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest you. Catch Woodward Sports Network live from Feldman Chevrolet of Novi. I believe it is Wednesday.
That's it. Yeah, next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. All right. So next Wednesday, come join us at Feldman and buy a car and meet the Wake Up Woodward and Big D Energy crew.
Hey, let's go. Shout out to the Queen, Kathy. Did you guys see the group text?
No.
Hey, happy holidays to you guys. We don't gotta wait till Friday.
What's your name in here?
Hey!
God!
Yeah!
Oh!
Hey!
That's the best news I've heard all week, man.
Hallelujah!
Yes!
Hey,
the best news you can get.
That message deserves this right here.
Let's go!
Hey! Shout out Kathy.
Shout out to Kathy.
I know you're working hard in the back, girl. We appreciate you. Just want to let you know. Hey. I get to cash that check before the holiday. Shout out Kathy, man.
Shout out Kathy.
I saw that during your read. I was like, oh, my heart.
Yes. Oh, man.
Oh, man. And you know what? I know we got Chase Ambly on the line. Get your mailbag questions in. I am going to announce the winner of the Barry Sanders jersey. Guys, stay tapped in to Woodward Sports Social. Stay tapped into the shows as well. We got a lot that we're trying to do for you all. It is at JetGOP, JETGOP. John Trigero is his name. That is his X account. You are the winner of the Barry Sanders jersey. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for participating.
Shout out, man.
Definitely, man. Hey, let's go. Let's get to this call, Chase Ambly, and then we'll get right into these mailbag questions.
All right, you said take the call. My bad. I had tuned out for a second. But Chase Ambly, you on Wake Up Woodward. What's up, bro?
Hey, what up, Doe? How's it going this morning, everybody?
What up,
Chase? Good, man. How about you?
Hey.
Got your email.
I'm doing good, man. I just wanted to call in. I wanted to wait to listen to Flannel's full breakdown about AJ Hinch and then kind of like take a second to digest it before calling in right away to react. I understand where he's coming from, and I appreciate all of the quantitative data that Flannel always brings to his arguments.
Yep.
When I'm looking at this, like from like a bigger picture, macro aspect for the Tigers, it reminds me a lot of that first year with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell in Detroit. Now I know this isn't Scott Harrison and AJ Hinch's first year with the Tigers, but I think there's a lot of moving pieces with baseball. Baseball is predominantly, like you see, fail 70% of the time, whether you're when you're at the bat. So I think it's just we got to give it a little bit more time and a little bit more patience with this rebuild. I don't think we should fire AJ Hinch just yet. I mean, I think if we look back on the film from the Lions' first season with Dan Campbell, that first half of the season, watching those games, like it looks rough. And sometimes this offense with the Tigers looks rough. But I think we just got to get our young guys time to develop. If we look at this roster, we're really, really young. And I think if we pull the plug too early, if we hinder these guys' development, moving around coaches too much, I mean, we saw, Flannel brought up, all those players on the Astros, Bregman, Altuve, Marwin Gonzalez. Like, A.J. Hinch definitely had a hand in helping those guys develop and get to where they are. And I would love to see him continue to help develop these young guys on the Tigers. I mean, obviously we have some bad contracts and stuff that hinder what we're doing, but I still think we just need to focus on the youth movement and just see how these guys continue to develop. So that was just kind of my 2 cents. I don't argue with anything he has to say, like quantitatively, like all of that data speaks for itself. I just think that looking at like the big picture, this reminds me a lot of like Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes' first couple of years in Detroit. And I mean, where we're at now, I think we're all sitting here in hindsight, like very happy with like the Jahmyr Gibbs pick, for example. Like maybe Max Clark turns out to be, Wyatt Langford tenfold. We don't know yet. We haven't seen him in the bigs, yo.
I'm hoping better than Wyatt Langford. But I guess the only thing I will say to that, because I'm not here to kind of like remake my whole point all over again. You guys, there was a big block of time during the 9 o'clock hour. I'm just going to say that I guess one thing that kind of discourages me that maybe there won't be this big payoff is that Spencer Torkelson and Parker Meadows were so bad they got sent to the minors. That's one where I'm like, maybe Torque is cooked. Maybe Meadows was always just a 4A kind of player. And I know that there's others who have succeeded, like Riley Green, and even in the case of Kerry Carpenter, maybe the back thing is debilitating. I hope not. He was huge for this team, and I thought he could be a piece moving forward, but there's just too many players this year have been just horrible at hitting to where a couple of the players that have been better, I just want to see them out there every day. That's maybe I'm not looking big picture enough, but I'm always a big fan of the type of teams that get value out of players that nobody else would. And I think the Tigers have a golden opportunity to at least try it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
A really interesting connection that Chase just painted. I was thinking about that exact connection last night with the Red Wings. Like hearing Pavel Datsyuk out on the ice at their developmental camp, seeing Yzerman, Lindstrom, and Draper up announce the pick, and the pieces that they're building in the front office and coaching staff at the Red Wings. I'm like, man, are all the leagues kind of taking a page out of the Lions? Like trying to find those culture fits, those former players for the organization. Man, Chase, we really appreciate your call, man.
Thank you.
I know we got to hop into mailbag, but as an interesting bridge he just connected.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Hopefully.
Shall see.
Remind me, I was reading through the chat. Do you guys already do the Feldman read?
Yes.
Yep. All right, let's power through some mailbag questions.
That's right.
Actually, first, mailbag. Dante151 had a super chat earlier. I'll turn it into a mailbag question. I find it funny how people freaked out on the Tobias Harris contract when LeBron James is getting $52 million more than Harris. Also, by the way, LeBron is 8 years older than Harris as well. Thoughts?
That's LeBron James.
That's LeBron James. But we've largely been okay with the Tobias Harris contract. But I know that there's a lot out there who haven't been. When this news first came up that Tobias Harris was the target of the Pistons over the last season, all the numbers that we saw attached were significantly higher than $26 million. When I saw the number, I was like, oh, 2 years 52.
Yes.
I thought it was minimum 2 years 60. Minimum.
Well, and given the market, I'm going to make this caveat, given the market, and I was somebody who was okay with the Tobias Harris deal, LeBron James is worth twice as much as Tobias Harris, at least, given this market. So,
yeah.
And LeBron is a bad name to compare with Tobias Harris. I get what you're saying.
LeBron hater.
You are.
I 100% agree with you.
Bonafide LeBron hater.
That's LeBron James.
I'm going to piggyback off on this topic. Alan W. Mailbag. With the LeBron extension, the Lakers are now over the second apron. What player or players would you like to pick up from them in a potential trade?
Anybody but
we know
AD.
Austin Reeves off the table. We know that.
The guys don't want. Are they really going to be available?
Did I hear JB say anybody but AD?
Anybody but AD.
Anthony Davis has been so psyoped by the NBA media and people who think that he sucks that people don't realize that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's had the same amount of all-NBA first teams as Steph Curry. He was a Robin on an NBA championship team. He is an all-time. He is going to go down as one of the top 40 players to ever play. Yeah. And he's the best number 1 overall pick since LeBron.
The most breakable player in the NBA.
Have you heard of a guy like Zion Williamson? I'll just say that. I'll just say that.
They're on the same team.
They're not even close to the same thing. Not even close to the same thing. Anthony Davis has nagging injuries.
Yeah. I mean,
Herb Nash, mailbag. Who's the first, second, and third option on the Pistons today?
Ooh, today, Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
It's first option.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that's what
Tobias Harris is going to be another guy that's going to, his usage is 20% plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly believe if Jaden Ivey is on this roster, he's going to be a guy that has the ball in his hands a lot to make the decisions he wants. I'm not going to discount guys like Simone Fontecchio and Tim Hardaway Jr., but they're guys that largely will play more of a support role or off-ball role. But in terms of players that are going to have the opportunity to run that usage up and decide if they shoot or pass, that's Cade Cunningham, Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey at this point.
Sweet. The real Cade Collins mailbag. Which Piston is most likely to be traded this summer?
Beef stew, it looks like.
I mean, Beef Stew is the only report that we heard of any of our players with them testing the market was on Beef Stew. I haven't seen that report about Asar or Jaden Ivey or even Jalen Duran at all.
Mm-hmm.
The only player we've seen is Beef Stew, so I would have to lean in that direction.
Yeah.
It's the biggest contract they have.
I want to keep Beef Stew though. As somebody who is as somebody who is a former Beef Stew hater, on a previous iteration on this show, I had arguments with shout out Jeff Iafredi about Beef Stew, in which I took the don't sign him and he was all for it. I now am a Beef Stew guy because he did what a lot of us wanted him to do. He improved his three-point shot, and defensively, he was one of the Pistons' better players last year.
He took a step forward.
Look at some of those numbers in terms of like him actually protecting the rim. I know that he's not tall enough to be a full-time rim protector, but Beef Stew can be good for this team.
I'm going to continue to say it. I like Beef Stew on this team. I think he's a heart and soul type guy. I just think it's off the bench.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine with me.
Grinder. Rando Smalls, mailbag. Baseball draft coming soon. I feel like shortstop is our biggest position of need. Where else should we consider or best player available? It's actually a good question. Kevin McGonigal is a shortstop in single A, but I do think they attack shortstop / infield.
They have to.
Otherwise, I'd go outfield. Hearing what Scott Harris said a week or two ago on the Have a Seat podcast, they want starting pitching and they want great outfield defense. So I think they approach a guy like Vance Honeycutt out of North Carolina, Braden Montgomery, and Seaver King. Those are a couple guys projected to go in the first round that are predominantly outfielders. There's some great shortstops in the draft too.
I will say this too, and maybe a little preview if we want to do a front office flannel in the next couple of weeks. There's some minor league shortstops and other systems that
I like that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There's some that some of our players, like a Carson Kelly, for example, who I love, or a Jack Flaherty, can maybe trade package.
Dante
Get us some more
151
prospects.
asks, would you look at first base?
I wouldn't in the first round. Or I should say, I don't think they're going to in the first round. You heard how Scott Harris talked about, why they want outfield defense. It's because of Comerica Park. Like, to make another Spencer Torkelson type bet on a power hitter, which is what you want out of your first baseman. You need power.
Yeah.
You need home runs and RBIs. It's just a lot harder to predict in Comerica Park. It's a massive park that it's hard to hit for power. So I just don't think they approach that in the first round.
There's a first baseman in a certain system that I want. Again, foreshadowing all the way.
Can't wait.
When you're talking about shortstops, Jazz Chisholm.
No.
Bring him home?
No. Okay.
He's not that bad.
No, you're right. You're right.
He's not that
in
bad.
a vacuum. See, that was emotional. That was my bad.
Yes.
In a vacuum, Jazz Chisholm can certainly be on this team.
Thank you.
No doubt about it.
Thank you, Sam. We getting somewhere.
He just should have never been on any cover of any video game ever. You know what Jazz Chisholm? Chisholm being on the cover of MLB The Show represents? It represents the Fernando Tatisification of MLB baseball. And Fernando Tatis Jr. can play.
Yes.
But it's all about aura. It's all about pimping homers. It's all about that kind of stuff. Jazz Chisholm did not deserve it on merit. He had a really good 60 games. That's what got him on the cover. He was having a good year. He played 60 games. But because he's got aura and he's cool and, pimping homers is like the coolest thing ever now. How about good old-fashioned on-base percentage?
Right.
309 career.
It's going to be Ellie De La Cruz next year. You going to hate him too?
No, Ellie De La Cruz is actually good. You know who isn't good? O'Neal Cruz. Ellie De La Cruz is good.
Yeah.
O'Neal Cruz is one of the most overrated players in MLB because he hits the ball hard and has aura and pimps homers. People like him. I'm just saying. But Ellie De La Cruz, credit where credit is due. He's had a damn good season.
Yes. Last question. We'll make it quick. It's 10:09. Ryan's reaction. Mailbag. PFT has Packers ranked 6th. Jets ranked 24th. Who y'all got having a better 2024 season?
Is that
Packers or Jets?
Mike Florio, PFT?
I don't know if he meant PFF or if he meant PF.
Well, PFT is Pro Football Talking. That's Mike Florio.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's different than Pro Football Network. PFT is the podcast?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I got
PFT,
you.
PFN,
So PFT probably.
PFF.
Florio. Yeah. Probably got Jared Goff as the 33rd best quarterback.
Yeah, so they had Love and the Packers 6th, and they had the
Jets
Jets
24th.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I got the Jets having a better record. I do. I think they're going to win the AFC East, as everybody knows.
Ooh.
And I think the Packers will be a wild card team. I got the Packers penciled in for probably 10 wins, and the Jets for like 11.
I feel like the Packers repeating last year. I could see this season in the NFC North going
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
similar to
Yeah.
the way they did last year.
Yep. I think so too.
Yeah.
Take us out, Kool-Aid.
All right. Shout out to
4th of
Eric
July,
Burrow.
baby.
He said, great show, everyone. I know everybody's going to be looking forward to this holiday. I will wrap this thing up quickly so we can go see the Queen Kathy and everybody can make sure they take their business.
All hail be to the
before
Queen.
the holidays. But thank you guys, chat
Love
family,
you, Kathy.
for tapping in with the Wake Up Woodward crew.
You my
Choosing to
everything.
Kick off your day with Wake Up Woodward.
JB took it there. JB took it there.
Thank you guys, man. Yo, I love doing this. I really do. I remember Flannel, we had some conversations about it. I remember when one day you were talking about we were going through some changes and you were just like, I really feel like doing this. And it's like, I get it, bro. I get it, man. It's also the connection we have here on the show and with you all as well. So let's break this thing down. Shout out to that dude, Justin, 6th man of the squad, still working hard on vacay. We appreciate you, brother. Enjoy the rest of your time. Enjoy your holiday. Can't wait till you're back with us. And, hey, break down the starting 5. We'll start with the vet of the squad. That is Flannel Sam in the nice, crispy, gold blue flannel.
Damn right.
Shout out to general manager, baseball manager Flannel.
AJ Hinch, can we get Carson Kelly and Andy Abani's in the lineup tonight? No? Great? Okay,
Nope.
don't talk to me.
I love that's how you use the last word, bro.
He won't.
You gotta get the Tigers right, man, just for our guy Flannel. But let's go to this booth, man. The stupendous, the wonderful, the marvelous, the magnificent.
There you go.
The great.
Cook up, man.
I'm running out of adjectives now, man. But hey, shout out.
I'll get you a dictionary. Don't worry about it.
Shout out to Detroit's #1 draft pick in the sound booth. You got KG, that is Black Hollywood.
Hey, man. Shout out to my team. It's been great. Everybody in the chat, enjoy your holiday. Throw them burgers and brats on the grill. And happy early birthday to my cousin James, man. His birthday is on the 4th. So happy birthday,
happy
James.
Birthday to James.
AKA Flood. That's my guy, man.
AKA Flood. Hey, shout out to Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. Always cooking up something smooth. That is JBSMOOOOOV.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yo, everyone in the chat, thank you for tapping in. Have a very happy and safe 4th of July. Don't have any injuries due to fireworks or anything like that.
Right,
We don't need another.
fingers off.
We don't need another Terry incident. So, be safe out there. Enjoy your day. Unfortunately, I gotta work, but it's all good though.
Hey, and just remember, JB Smooth would rather have Cam Reddish on the Pistons than Anthony Davis.
I'll take him.
Let's go.
I expect Jason Pierre-Paul bars on Bar King on Friday. Lots of them.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Matthew, brother, our credential Tigers and Lions reporter and writer. Does a lot for the show as well. Thank you, brother. Hey.
Bunt. Remember the bunt. Everybody, remember the bunt.
I'm telling y'all, let a month go by, and because of a lack of a bunt, this Tigers team loses a game. You're gonna have to be battling Flannel and Broder.
That's fine, man. They done already missed some games because of not bunting, so it's all good.
They've lost 0 games because of not
Oh,
bunting.
my God.
Hey, and this your boy.
Tell that to the extra innings, man.
It's your boy Brandon Dan K. Detroit Kool-Aid, the credential Pistons reporter and writer. As always, man, we appreciate you guys for kicking off today with the Woo Crew. Go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't on the way out. If you have, encourage someone else to do the same. Have a great day. Have an awesome holiday. We can't wait to see you guys on Friday. Tap in with the rest of the show today. Appreciate you all.